All right, fuck it.
Here we go.
All right, man. Thanks for being here. I don't want to make it different now.
Yeah, right.
So, how did you get here today?
Exactly.
Nah, man. Dude, I know that ever since I can't imagine how's it been since you finished that ride and just the amount of people that's been just blowing you up, wanting to do exactly what I did. You know, reach out to you, wanting to share the story of this fucking insane thing you did. You know what I'm saying? How has it been since you finished it?
Oh, it's been great. I gotten a lot of great feedback. A lot of people have reached out, talked to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Just from all kinds of different shows and stuff. Yeah. Everyone's got a kind of different angle that they want to approach it or whatever, different questions. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been great. I like talking about it. I like sharing it. So it's been a good time.
It's pretty wild. And like I said when we were talking downstairs, man, I really wanted to kind of like, I guess my angle, like you just said, is I wanted to find a way to, I guess, like how, like what was, you said you rode, dirt bikes and shit like that, right? Originally.
Right.
When you started riding street bikes, like how was that progression? Like what would you start out on? Was it like sport bikes or, straight to Harley? What'd you do?
Yeah, straight to Harley. I mean, I had a street bike as a younger kid, growing up, and then had my kids young and they're, growing and kind of out of the house, and got a 2014 Limited, rode it a lot. And even back then, I rode more than the average person.
Yeah.
I was, 25 to 30,000 miles a year. So
okay.
Still more than average, but nothing comparable
that's roughly what I do. You know what I mean? So I'm usually a 20 to 25, maybe 30 sometimes.
Yeah.
You know
so still quite a bit of riding, on Harleys and way more than the average person. So
yeah. And now, when did you start doing that? Like
right off the bat, just like I said, I got that 2014 Limited. Okay. My wife was riding with me at the time. And then she decided to get her own. Yeah. So she was off, and then I was just solo from that point. But and then just kind of took off from there.
So when you were doing those original rides, like were you just hitting the rallies up? Like what was the pull? Was it like just checking, like, you know what I mean? Like what? I guess the question is like, what is those first things that make you want to get outside the state and go see? Like, what was it for you?
So it was just your normal rides, your normal weekend rides, and I'm self-employed, so I can ride around during the week.
Yeah.
For work, so I'd ride pretty much every day. Going around checking houses or whatever. So then just your normal, weekend trip here, there, and then it kind of started with the Hoka Hay. So that's how I kind of fell into the long distance stuff. I was actually looking to do an iron butt. I knew what iron butt was. Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. I was looking around on the internet trying to find, find the rules and get some more information on it, and then ran across the Hoka Hay, and it's and I'm like, why do 1,000 when you could do 10,000?
Exactly. The Hoka Hay, I heard it on the podcast you did with Dan. I heard it talked about many times in passing, but I haven't had a chance to dive into it. So what is that whole thing about? Like,
okay, it's about a roughly 10,000 mile ride. Okay, there's no set time or whatever. When you finish is when you finish. Okay, there's no GPS and no lodging, so you can't stay in hotels or whatever. You have to stay with your bike.
Okay,
and you get turn by turn directions, so you have no idea where you're going. There's 3 dealership checkpoints, and you know those up front. So if you need to call ahead to set up service or repairs or anything like that. So you know those. But other than that, when we line up to start, they walk down the line and hand you your directions.
Wow.
So when they get to the back and they walk up, you go. So, you've got, 3 to 5 minutes to get it kind of organized and know. And it's just turn by turn. Hey, go 50 miles, turn left on this street. Go 25 miles, turn right on this street. Go 100 miles. And,
Yeah.
So it's just all turn by turn, back road stuff.
Okay, so it's like but you get the whole map, like the whole turn by turn.
You get the whole thing to the first checkpoint, the first dealership, which is they break it up in between 3,000 and 3,500 miles.
Okay.
Then when you get to the dealership, then you grab your packet of the next set of directions. 1 or 2 pages, just all line by line, and you can use paper maps.
Yeah.
Just no GPS or whatever. So
like
I said, all back road stuff. So a lot of times, street signs are missing or.
So what's the average time that someone will do it in?
So they have what's called like the end of the road party at 14 days, 2 weeks, and all the top, probably the top 30-40% will finish by then, and then you have a big portion that doesn't finish at all. Then you have the ones that come in anywhere between that and 30 days, total of 30 days after that.
So fuck, man, that sounds fun. Actually,
it's a good time. I mean, good. You'll see some, you ride some amazing roads, see some
do they
great
like?
sights.
Do they try to like give you some really good things to ride?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
So
all
not
like I said. It's mostly all back road stuff. There's no
feel like
interstates or anything like that. It's
I feel
all
like
good
you'd be
stuff.
stuck riding through the worst neighborhoods in the city and shit like that. Like,
No, try to avoid all that, and it's it's an amazing, life changing ride. It just you find out things about yourself because you got to dig deep to
push that out,
to push yourself and to finish on time. And on time, I say by that, the goal is to finish by that party. So
yeah, because it's like we do our, like I was telling you about our trips that me and the homies do. We usually take 2 weeks, and ours average about 5,000 miles on those trips, and we complain about those days that are like back to back to back 400-mile days, where we're like, man, we want to get some of those days that way we can get to this town or this place, this campsite with the sunlight still out. So we can set up camp or take the shit off our bikes and go find a cool restaurant or bar to go hang out in for the rest of the night.
Right.
Instead of but when you have back-to-back of those days, you kind of get to a point where it's you're pretty wore out, you know what I mean? And you end up just having like parking lot beers with the buds, you know what I'm saying? But that sounds actually cool. I mean, I don't know what maybe I was confusing the Hoka with the Cannonball style thing, which I think he's probably got some similarities to it, but the Cannonball's all like vintage old ass bikes, right? It's like not necessarily. It has to be a 100-year-old bike, right? So
I don't know what all the qualifications are, but it's something like that. You're all going the same way. So what's cool about the Hoka is you're going to run into people, all different people, because like I said, you're all going the same way, and this guy rides different than this guy. Everyone kind of rides different, so you're leapfrogging people back and forth sometimes, and you'll catch people, and then somebody that you pass, you wind up getting lost, and he winds up passing you later on that day or the next day or whatever. So it's kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah. That, man, 10,000 miles in 2 weeks doesn't sound that bad if that's only the thing. The goal is just ride, get to the point. But the no hotels. I guess you said this on the podcast, like every once in a while, like I love camping. I love moto camping. It's like my shit. But I like if you do 2 or 3 days of camping, that one good hotel shower and not like a Love's shower or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
You can stop there. You can stop at a Love's or whatever.
You
can grab a shower or whatever. It's just no lodging.
So do they do it every year? Is it kind
every
of
other year?
Every other year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's coming up this year, and then it'll be 24.
And you said you've done it twice now, right?
Right.
And the first time you said you came in ninth?
Ninth.
And then the second time was fifth.
Fifth, yeah.
So it's just kind of a race in a sense that like you're the first one there.
I mean, someone's always going to be first.
Do you think it's like, is it more about being first or just finishing the race? Finishing, yeah.
I think you're racing yourself, basically. It's, you're pushing yourself, your mind, your body to finish at, whatever time, that 2 weeks is the goal. One, just to finish is the goal. But still, everyone says, "Oh, I just want to finish," but they're still in the back of their mind that I still, I want to finish by the end of the road party or whatever. I want to make that. Be there. So that's the.
So what were you try to average? Like, try to do like a, fuck.
You don't even look at a miles or a time. It's just you ride until you're done, and then you sleep for a couple hours, and you get up and you just do it again. You just ride. I mean, there'll be days where you can bang out 1,000 miles, but some of these roads. All these back roads. I mean, you're 18 hours in and you've only gone 700 miles. It's just
that makes sense.
Some areas there's just you have no idea.
Especially if it gets to like going through mountains or like PCH or some shit where you're only doing like 100 miles, but it takes fucking 6 hours to do or some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that makes sense.
Yeah, there was a time I remember in 18 to where there was like a 8-hour stretch where I never got over 50 miles an hour.
Yeah,
it's just so you get you get so worn out you're just begging for a straightaway. You're like, I just want to get on the straight road for a while and relax.
So where does it kick off this year?
Like this year's in South Dakota.
So it starts there and
ends there.
And ends there.
Yeah.
And will it take you like across the entire country or
pretty much? Yeah. Nobody knows the exact route. But it'll hit 20, 30 states. Who knows?
Damn, that sounds fucking cool. So. It's a good challenge though. I mean, I guess what I was kind of wanting to ask you was like, we're coming up on almost hitting all 48 states. Like, then what becomes the challenge after that? Like, I still love seeing things, so I don't necessarily want to zoom past everything. But like, what would be, the next step? Like, what's the next draw to travel this country? You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's so much stuff to see out there.
Yeah.
Even on my ride, I made tons of stops. I saw a lot of stuff, but I didn't even see a fraction of what's out there. There's roads that I wanted to ride that I missed, and there's roads that I don't even know about that I know I missed that are just, killer roads.
Yeah.
They're just, you'll never hit them all. So, to answer your question, is you just got to figure out what you want to see.
What's next?
Make some shit
what
do you
up.
want to see? What do you want to ride?
I thought it was
there's just so much out there.
So you said you started riding, started doing these like the iron butt situation stuff around 2014 is what you said?
Really kind of got into it in, 18.
18?
Yeah.
Damn, so you've been hitting it hard for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, what the iron butt and then immediately into a Hoka Hay situation, or did you start trying to do, like, had you already done coast to coast type stuff, like seen a lot of the country?
No, really, as far as long distance rides, it's kind of a funny story. Is the Hoka Hay was my first one.
Your first one.
So I did a Hoka Hay before I did any real long distance rides or whatever. So
that sounds fucking cool as shit, man. Honestly,
yeah.
I didn't know it was like, I guess the turn by turn situation. It's kind of like takes all the annoying part of traveling out. You don't have to plan any of that shit. You just got to do it. It's like being invited on a bike trip, which is sometimes the best because you don't have to be the one.
It's just a big mental drain.
Yeah.
That's the the thing that's the hardest part of it because every single turn you're having to reset your trip odometer. So if you miss that, you have no idea.
So it's not like turn on fucking Pine Cone Road?
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But since it's not like major highways or anything, so it's, hey, go 50 miles and turn left on Smith Street, go another 30 miles. Well, if you turn on that Smith Street and don't reset your trip, you don't know where 30 miles is. So you're, now, okay, you're looking for whatever side street
use the
to
GPS
turn on.
to be like, oh, did I pass it? So
yeah, you can use a paper map. You can pull it out, but, and the directions aren't spot on.
Yeah.
So if it says go 30 miles, it could be anywhere between 20 and 40. So, you got to make a decision at some point to stop, pull over, and look at a map and figure out if you're lost or missed a turn or whatever. And then, you can't just cut over. You have to go back to where you messed up.
So how do they track all that stuff?
We have trackers on our bike.
Trackers, okay.
Yeah, and then they have like an overlay that they could take our track and put it over what the route is just to see if we're cutting out a big portion or whatever.
Dan was telling me something about like the origins of the Hoka Hay was kind of like do you know much about it?
As far as what?
Like it was some Indian type situation where they had some money. It was like $100,000 like giveaway if you could do it kind of situation or something like that.
Yeah, Jim Redcloud's the one who found it.
Okay.
In the first year, which was 2010, that was a cash prize for that one, and that one was from Key West to Alaska.
Damn.
Yeah, and then
That sounds fun too. Though.
Yeah, and then the money went away, so now there's no money involved.
Yeah.
It's just man against machine. It's you against you and yourself. Just pushing your mind and body to.
So
finish.
Where did you find out about all these different types of things like the Hoka Hay? Like what was the circles or the Facebook group or where was it? You know what I mean? Like being exposed to it.
Yeah. So like I said, when I was looking, I was just wanting to do an iron butt. I was wanting to do 1,000 miles in 24 hours. Looking around, and then I ran across the Hoka Hay, one of the forums, and then I'm like, okay, well, shit, let me just do that. Let me just go to the top. Why settle for 1,000 when there's this ride that's 10,000?
Yeah.
So I signed up for that, and at kind of last minute, and I got in and did that. And then after that is when I really kind of started figuring out the iron butts and the long distance riding and that, and kind of got more into that.
The iron butt, like what is it? The website they have, don't they have all the challenges on there, like listed out, like all kinds of different ones.
Yeah, there's tons of different rides out there.
I thought it was. Do you ever or have you done? I'm sure you have, but I got to ask the question. Like, you ever said like, I want to know that I've ridden from the start point of this highway, like 40. I want to know that I started at the beginning and maybe not a continuous, but it'd be dope to say like I rode from start to finish of this major highway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, have you done some of those?
And that is a ride. That's an iron butt ride. Is a interstate end to end. So, I-10 end to end, you can get a certificate for that. All the major interstates, you can get certificates for those.
Nice.
So there are those kinds of rides, and you're able to come up with rides on your own as well.
Bots. Online strips without clothing.
God
Get
damn
it.
They're spamming us.
Yeah. So I mean, you can put your own ride together if you come up with some unique ride that you think is cool. You can submit it to them. Get our own special certificate that way.
So what are some of the more unique things that you found that you would like? Of course, on your big trip that you just did, you had to like set some like small like challenges. I know you did the thing where you're trying to spell out names, or was it your name or just like any like other people's names too? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so I started doing my name.
Yeah.
I just started out to do Texas, and I wrote my name in Texas. It was right at 1,500 miles, spelling out Chris. So it was a big ride. So and then I got that one finished, and it's pretty cool. And then it kind of hit me like, shit, I should do every state.
Yeah.
So and I wanted to do it, knock out every state in 2 years. I think I'm at like 18 or 19 now. I don't remember exactly.
It's gonna be tough in Rhode Island.
Exactly. So I've done all the good ones. So now I'm kind of left with East Coast, which are going to be smaller rides, which aren't that fun. And there's one state that I was trying to do, and it was a bigger state. I can't remember where it is, kind of in the Midwest or whatever. But there's just literally not enough roads to do, other than doing it in like a little neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah.
But 300, 400, 500 miles, there's just no roads that I could make it work. So
yeah, I could see that because especially like a lot of it gets gridded out too, a little bit in a sense. I guess it might be easy to do it on a grid.
That's kind of what you look for, something like that. But
when they start having like terrain though, it gets a little wonky.
Yeah, but then I did on my big ride, I did spell out a couple different names or whatever.
That was cool.
Jamesy, that was one of the ones that I wrote. And that was actually my biggest name ride. That one was I remember like 4,400 miles or something.
Damn.
Yeah, it took 3 days to knock that one out.
So when you did the Hokkaido, the 2 times you did it, and then how did the inspiration for this 100,000 miles situation come to be? Like, we're just waking up one day like, on the top of everybody in the world times 10 and just.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, it's not like I'm the first person to ever think of it. It's been talked about for years. It's just one of those things to where, you got to have, the time and the money, the time being the biggest thing. I mean, most people can't take, 3 months off work or whatever. Yeah. So luckily I was in a position where I could do that. And I'd planned to do it last year.
Yeah.
Or what was it, 2020?
Yeah.
But then Hokkaido got pushed back a little bit to July, and I didn't want to start after that because it was going to be too late into the year. So I didn't want to run into weather issues that late into the year in some of the Northeast or whatever. So I just said, I knew I was in the Iron Butt Rally, the IBR last year. So I said, as soon as that's over, I'm gonna.
Do they do that Iron Butt Rally in different like areas? Is it like a rotating place, or is
that's
it
every other year, and it's opposite of the Hokkaido. So, and that's just a big rally ride. So, and it's 11,000 miles, 11 days. If you're familiar with rally, it's kind of like scavenger hunt or whatever. So, you have different legs, and they'll give you a book full of all these different points of interest, all worth a different amount of points.
Okay,
and it's up to you to route. Hey, how do you get the most points?
Okay.
So
see, that to me, that stuff sounds like after me and my guys hit all of our states and do all 4 corners basically, then it'd be kind of dope to start doing some of those like challenges together. Like, do you find that doing some of the challenges is a lot harder if you do it with another rider versus just alone? Because I feel like I can lay down miles when it's just me. You know what I mean?
You're always going to feel a little bit better by yourself.
Yeah.
Just because that's you're not having to worry about somebody else, and you're not slowing them down, or they're not slowing you down. Whatever the case might be. So there's always going to be an issue. So yeah, when you're alone, obviously that's the best. But there's plenty of times to where if you're riding with someone and you're not really under the gun or anything like that can be great fun too. I mean, because some of these places that you go and see, it's cool to have somebody there with you to experience it with. So
yeah, I agree. That's one of the things that like. On the way back from Sturgis this year, I kind of wanted. I was going to go to California, and then I made it to Salt Lake, and then I was like, I wanted to go take pictures in the salt flats of my last paint job I had on the bike down there. And when I woke up, I woke up early enough to where I could get to the salt flats before the sun come up, and then I was just scrolling Instagram, and it was like Speed Week there, and I'm like, fuck, man, like it's gonna be tents everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be the desolate plant like wasteland that I wanted it to look like for the photos and shit. So I was like, well, fuck. And it was only because of that stretch between Wendover and Reno that I fucking absolutely hate riding. It's so boring that I was like, I think I should go back home.
Right.
But I was looking at your map that you have that you posted that has like all these different all the highways that you were on basically. And what areas did you find that you liked being in the most? Are you more of an East Coast kind of vibe rider with that kind of
No.
because there is something really nice about that Vermont, that kind of, the whole the covered bridges and that kind of terrain, but there's also this vastness of the big country of the plains and west. You know what I'm saying? So which one do you think really speaks to you the most?
I like out west. I like that type of riding. I mean, there is good riding out east.
Yeah.
But as far as, being on the clock, a timed ride, some kind of iron butt or challenge or anything like that, obviously you've got, speeds are slower, more traffic. It's just more of a hindrance to that. But if you're not under the gun or under the time crunch or anything like that, yeah, there is great riding out there.
Yeah.
And I don't mind riding out there. But, anytime you're doing any type of big, fast riding, obviously you want to be out west where
You can make some miles happen.
You can lay down some miles pretty quick.
When I go west a lot, I usually would go here to Phoenix, Dallas to Phoenix, and I got it down to where I can't remember what I did it quickly in, but you start to know where the cops hang out on 10, and so it's like, and then like I
found a lot of them.
Did you get pulled over at all on the
14
trip?
times.
14 fucking times.
14 times, yeah. Yeah.
Did they let you go?
3 tickets.
Oh, fucking
Yeah,
assholes.
I got one of them dismissed and
What were they for?
speeding.
Oh,
Yeah. And
Was it Virginia?
all of them were, I'd say all of them. The vast majority of them were middle of nowhere roads.
Oh, okay.
Like I got the two that, I got 2 in Kansas. I mean, literally middle of nowhere. Kansas, there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, nothing around for miles, and it's a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'm like, come on.
It's like, dude, come on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
so, why am I going 55 through these cornfields or whatever?
I always feel like the cops, like, because I would usually still speed too. Like if a cop's on the highway, I'll just, like, hey, man, I'm not aggressively speeding. I guess in my head, that's what I make myself believe, that like I'm politely speeding, right? Like I'm on a move right now, man. Like I'm not zipping in and out of traffic and creating chaos. You know what I'm saying? So, fortunately, I've been lucky. I haven't got any tickets in a while. Since we started riding performance bagger type shit. Sturgis has been a new thing for us because we're getting pulled over all the fucking time now because we're trying to race these goddamn things at rallies when people are driving 30 looking at everything, and we're just acting like assholes basically. So those are well-deserved tickets. But
yeah, in Sturgis, I stayed with a buddy up there for a night, and I got up, I don't know, it was probably 3 or 4 in the morning to leave. I got stopped 2 times within a mile.
Oh, they're trying to see if you're drunk.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, going through town. I mean, I was probably, I think I was going 10 miles an hour over. He pulled me over. And he basically said, we're checking for drunk. I'm like, dude, this is what I'm doing. I just got up. I'm leaving town. I'm getting out of here. And then a mile down the road, same thing. So
they've gotten pretty bad, like between the Deadwood and, or like Lead and Sturgis, that little strip there. Yep. And then, of course, as soon as the sun goes down, they all sit in Sturgis and wait at every stop sign. You better put your feet down.
Right.
And you better have some eye protection on, otherwise your ass is grass. So, but yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like the last couple of years, so this 2021, we went to Maine on our big trip, and then last year or the 2020, we did Sturgis because a lot of the guys hadn't been to Sturgis, so we did a Sturgis and Yellowstone, Colorado, New Mexico kind of loop, and that was awesome. That was a really fun trip.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Nothing but good shit. We just Yellowstone and zigzag Wyoming all the way through Ruidoso.
Yeah.
How do you say that? Ruidoso.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I say it so white. Ruidoso.
Yeah.
But I've actually I was telling you earlier that like I've got this newfound love for riding through the plains that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
That I used to like, fuck Kansas. Oh, it sucks. But now it's like, oh, I want to go through Dodge City. You know, there's parts like you get stuck behind like a cattle truck or
You
some
can still
shit.
say fuck Kansas.
Yeah,
It sucks.
It does suck, but
Yeah.
I've ridden through some of those cornfields before and been like, you know what? This is fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I've also like,
They're cool everywhere but Kansas.
I mean, that's basically what Nebraska is. It's just corn.
Nebraska's kind of a unique situation though, because the whole
Nebraska's not bad. I don't mind.
yeah,
riding there.
Nebraska
Yeah.
has like this progressional change that goes from east to west, where I think it was like it's agricultural and then it changed to or what is it? Fuck. It basically goes from like
Crops
to animals. Like it's farm for animals, and I don't know the fucking terminology, but you know, when you're in like Omaha and you leave, it's like fucking farms everywhere. But then once you get out towards like, I can't think of a town right off the bat. He actually wrecked in one of them on the way to Sturgis this year. But the terrain gets pretty badass. You get those rolling hills.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. I like that part. I like that part of Oklahoma, like getting out in western Oklahoma where you get some of those nice rolling hills and you can see far. To me, I guess it's like that inner cowboy that I wish I was, that I feel like I'm kind of, you know.
It's just a whole different element to riding.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we got those ones where, you know, we're all looking for the twisties or whatever, and you know, to bang through those, and then and then like you said, it is fun to just, you know, get out in the open plain and set the cruise and just chill, and you know.
How much like history type stuff are you like into history and all the different types of things for the country, like whether it's
not too big.
Not too big. So we started doing the gravesite situation for all the you know, the gunslingers and the outlaws of the past, but we've also been doing all the Forrest Gump spots. So everywhere that when he ran across the country that they showed, we've actually hit almost all of them.
Yeah.
The whole reason we went to Maine was to go to the lighthouse that he turned down around it, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We didn't go all the way to the top or go to what's that little island, Bar Harbor or something like that everybody talks about. It's a badass thing. We just did the lighthouse and we're like, guess we're going home now. And we just fucking went back the other way. But no, same thing. We've kind of made our own little checklist or hit list, like you were saying on Danger Dan's podcast, of things that, you know, just stupid reasons. And it's funny because when you get to a place like the lighthouse, there's other tourists there. And this lighthouse is underwhelming. It's not that fucking big.
Right.
It's not. It's like, it's nothing. It's not that big at all. But there's other people. They're like, oh, what? You know, you guys are from Texas. That's cool. It's like, why are you here? It's like, oh, Forrest Gump Ranger. So we came to see it. They're like, really?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, dude.
That was the draw, huh?
Yeah. So my favorite movie, man. That movie gave me wanderlust growing up, and it gave me like a.
So did you go out to Utah and run down the road?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was actually on the other side of those mountains right there.
Okay. Yeah.
Or those mittens, I guess. So Monument Valley's like, and I was going to ask you the same question. Monument Valley's my centering thing. Like, I feel like when I'm riding down that road and seeing those, you know, I guess they're called mittens or monuments, whatever the fuck you want to call them. I just fucking love it, dude. I can't explain the feeling I have there. It's like just like this plugged in energy to like the road, the everything. And honestly, I feel like if I don't hit that once a year, I feel like, because I didn't hit it last year, and I feel kind of fucking weird, like
missing something.
Like I need to plug back into the road. You know what I'm saying? So do you have that spot that you feel like you just you got to see it once a year kind of feeling?
Man, I don't know if I could narrow it down to one spot, especially after this ride, just because I saw so much cool stuff that. Yeah. But any one of those, though. I mean, pretty much any road that's like that, where you can get out and just see some cool scenery, see some cool shit, and it's just you, not a lot of cars, and you know, you're just out there enjoying nature, and you know, especially if it's, you know, sun up or sundown. You know, sun up's my favorite time to ride. Yeah. You just get that, you know, especially we've been riding all night. When that sun starts creeping up, that's just a huge burst of energy. I feel brand new.
The same thing, like you were saying on Dan's podcast, that like we usually would, when we got like we're trying to get out of Dallas, we would usually about 3 a.m. Sometimes if we got drunk the night before, 4 a.m.
Right.
You know? And I'm always energized, like super ready to go. But every fucking time around 8 a.m., I'm like just dozing off, like yelling in my helmet, like anything to stay awake. For some reason, I always have a hard time on those early mornings like that, where and it's also usually cold as fuck too at that same time. So, you're shivering, and then it's one of those. But what when you first, so what was the whole, like, I think we got sidetracked. What was the whole planning for this? Like, what was the original thought as to why am I going to do this? And then how it kind of like morphed into the whole thing you did with the charity situation too.
Yeah. So it was, like I said, I'd planned to do it. And then I wound up doing it. I knew after the IBR I was going to take off. Planning is not my strong suit. So I literally I think I had the first 2 days planned, and that was it. So it was just one of those things. I was going to get out there and go do it, and take a shot and swing for the fences and see if I could do it. Obviously no one's ever done it. So, excuse me. So I don't have anything to gauge it on or base it on or talk to or whatever. The record, Matt Wise had that. He did 45,000 in 45 days, and he's from this area. Yeah. So that was kind of the first goal. So I initially thought, okay, that's my goal. I'm gonna get to 45,000. That's what I was focused on. Do that, and then I thought from that point to probably day, 80. Was going to be the hardest thing, and it was just absolutely going to suck. And then those last 20 days were going to be easy because I can see the end's in sight. I know I'm almost done. I'm going to be finished because I thought it was just going to be so grueling and so tough, and I was just going to be so worn out that, okay, I'm almost finished. I can, and that's gonna pull me through those last few days. Yeah, and it was just the opposite. Once we got to 45 days, got that, but from day like 46 to like day 80. Was the absolute best time ever. I mean, just because the end wasn't in sight, I didn't have anything to worry about or focus on other than just ride. Do my thing, go see whatever, just make sure I'm getting my miles in. That last couple of weeks was brutal.
Yeah, how much pressure did you have doing this? I mean, I know that like you didn't plan, like you just said, but there's still like this weight of it. Like you said, the 45,000 was a goal, and then of course after that it was the 100, but. There's got to be a lot of pressure that it's like, especially because the other thing that you were telling, and I've been hearing, is that of how much backlash you were getting from people that said you couldn't do it. And to me, that's just kind of like fucking weird, right? Like,
yeah, but it was actually a good thing. It actually helped.
Motivated,
yeah. It's actually good motivation. Kept me busy, which not the safest thing, but I can when you're blasting down a highway in the middle of nowhere, you can. I can check out my phone and see all the stupid comments and all that. So, respond to them. Kind of takes your mind off of what you're doing and hey, your body's hurting. You feel like crap because I hurt. Every day. I mean, after a period of time, it was just there was as you can imagine, there was aches and pains. I mean, you're on a bike for. That many days in a row, your legs, you're not walking. So literally the only walking I was doing was if I didn't get a gas receipt, I had to walk into the gas station and get a receipt and walk into the hotel. There was no walking around other than that. So, other than a couple of stops I made, I had to walk to go check them out or whatever. So just, so some of that stuff takes your mind off of all that stuff and kind of get you away from it and get you out of your head. And
it just blows my mind that like people would take the time to say, like, in your head you can think it, right? Like, oh, this dude's not gonna fucking do that. Like just the doubt in your head, but why would you fucking print it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you go on a website or a Facebook or an Instagram and say that's impossible, or I don't, you know what I mean? Like
it's because they can't do it.
Yeah.
They think they can't do it, so they don't want to feel inferior or feel defeated that someone else did something that they know they can't do. Yeah. So they just want to try to drag somebody down.
Yeah, it just kind of blows my mind, man, because I think if anything, you want to be, seeing you do that shit is motivational. Like, it's like, fuck, like I wouldn't say that I didn't think it was possible, but it's just like you had to have a perfect bike, basically, in which, you
had to have a lot of things go right.
Well, yeah, the fucking stars have to align. You know what I'm saying? Or the planets have to align.
So, it worked out good. So, I mean, I had another bike, at home. So if something did go wrong, that was my main thing, is I wanted to do it on one bike.
Okay.
I think if somebody set out to do this, if it wouldn't have been me, I think whoever the other person would have been, I think they would have set up with two bikes.
Yeah.
go into the dealership, drop that one off, jump on that one, and go and all that.
Yeah,
And,
that's another good
you know,
way.
so I which probably makes more sense. But I had the mindset from the get-go. I wanted to do it on one bike. You know, I wanted to add that element of difficulty to it. And
Well, see, getting the odometer at 0, and then like the post I really love is the one that had said 9,999,
Right.
and then the next one's 100,000.
yeah, yeah.
So to me, that shit's just, I don't know, man. Like that's it. You kind of carved out something, right? That is now. I know someone's going to want to try to hit that challenge now.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. This year, somebody break it this year.
that sucks.
So I hope they, you know, I'm happy, you know. Kind of motivate somebody to get out there and push themselves or whatever. That's I'm okay with it, you know. I mean,
I wonder if
it's
they-
not like I did it knowing that it was going to last forever.
I want to see if we can do some sports betting on the Hoka Hay this year, because I think I'd probably put my money on you
No.
for.
No. I'm not riding to win or anything like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I don't have anything to prove. I've done good in both the ones
Yeah.
I've ridden, so I'm more having fun. In fact, we were talking about with some other Hoka Hay guys. I'm like, let's all pitch in $50 to so you can catch the biggest fish on the ride. So, you know, let's stop and enjoy it and have some fun. You know, and that's kind of where
When
we're
is
at.
it this year?
In June.
In June?
In June. I don't remember the exact date. 26th, 27th. I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll be on our
Again,
trip. But
I'm not a planner, so when the date comes, I'll just show up and go.
How do you get involved? Do you just like show
go,
up?
Yeah, you can go on the website and sign up.
Okay.
They select, you know, as a returning rider, you're eligible to come back. And then if a new rider, they pick so many new riders.
Okay, so you still-
each year.
So if I wanted to do it, I probably should start annoying them now about it in 2023.
I think sign-ups open up, in January? I don't
Of that
remember the
year?
exact date. Yeah, so after it's over, a couple months off, then they'll open it up to new registration. You sign up, and then they'll let you know when you get accepted and all that.
So I can afford to be off work for 2 weeks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Now there's still the ride to get to starting point, and
Yeah.
then the ride home from the starting or the ending point. But I can be off for 2 weeks or even 3, and I mean, with enough planning, I could be off 3 weeks and not lose everything that I have to my name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that is probably, like you were saying, like that's the other aspect of it that, you know, I had kids young too. So my daughter's grown. I'm turning 40 this year. My son is 11, so I got 6 more years, or he's 12. I got 6 more years before before I'm off the paper with him, and but yeah, I mean that I'm honestly hoping that my body can stay strong enough so that I can do more of this type of riding later on. You know what I mean? Because I've had a couple this last year. I've had a couple spots where I was like, lower back pain was starting to get to me pretty heavy, and it's been heavy. It's been a lot on this Dyna. The Dyna's a lot smaller, and the suspension's not really that great right now, and it's been kind of beating my back up when I would go to bike nights or something like that. But it does kind of worry me. Like one of my good friends, like that blue bike up there, he was out for like a month, like last year, with lower back, like had to get steroid shots, all this crazy shit. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, not as like I need to stay alive long enough to hopefully be able to do this later, but like I need to have a body that can handle being on the road like this, because I mean, you don't have to. What was like the thing at the Olympics where they like, is it curling they do? And they were like, all the memes are, have you seen it? It's like dudes that look like me with a beer belly, and it's like, this is peak performance. And they're talking about the national curling team or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You can have a curling body and ride and do a lot of
Right.
miles. Like, I don't need a 6-pack for that, but I don't want my, joints and things like that. Like, I worry about that.
Yeah, it's all mental.
It is.
You know, it's just going to be, how bad you want it.
I laid on a picnic bench once resting, could not fucking move.
Yeah.
I just was trying to lay on something hard, and my shit just locked up, and I literally laid there for like 45 minutes, just trying to wiggle out of this situation. So that ever happened to you? Any of those type of things?
Yeah. Like I said, it's just it's a big mental game. So this ride is different from like rallies, like the IBR, any of the rallies that I've ridden. I mean, those you're just you're so focused on. I've got to get there. I've got to get these points. I've got something defined.
Yeah.
I got to finish at this certain time. You just, Hoka Hey, you're so focused on directions. Where's my turn?
Yeah.
All right, what's next? Where's gas? how many miles. I mean, you're just so focused on all these different things. Like on this ride, though, I had none of that.
Yeah.
So it was just go wherever. Oh, there's a storm. Okay, I'll turn and try to avoid it. Or, oh, I passed it up. Okay, I'll come back to it next week. I'll roll through again. Or I'll turn around. Hey, I found this cool side. It's 80 miles behind me. Okay, I mean, I didn't
that's
have.
a pet peeve of mine, dude.
So I'll turn back and go get it. It's just miles.
I have a hard time
really
going to the other side of the highway for gas.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll keep going until there's one on the right. You know
Right.
what I'm
No,
saying?
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But this ride it was different. It was just, I didn't have any mental strain on any of that stuff other than just, hey, I got to bang out 1,000 miles today. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then wake up, I got to bang out 1,000 miles today. And just,
And
kept
you
doing that.
were saying that, like, basically you had, like, the first day you were able to knock out 1,500 out the gate, right? Mm-hmm. How many of those did you, like, try to – I know that you were saying on Danger Dan's podcast that you weren't really trying to play the averages and thinking like that. It was more of just as much as you can do every day. Like, what was the lowest mileage that you hit one day?
Like 600.
Yeah. Still a hard day.
Yeah, that day was a day that I just, my body was done. I got up and from the get-go, from as soon as I got on the bike, I couldn't go more than like 100 miles without stopping. I've got that ox tank on my bike, so I've got a 400-mile range. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't, 100 miles, I got to pull over, or let me just pull over and get something to eat. Let me pull over and rest, or let me pull over and go to the bathroom. I was finding any excuse I could to pull over. And I got to that point to where, like, okay, my body's done. I have to make the decision to just stop now, knowing that I'm losing 400 miles. Mm-hmm. But I've got to make up this 400 miles. So,
but did you accumulate enough mileage, enough like 1,100 mile days to kind of?
I mean, I was ahead for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then pretty much for the whole ride, I was behind. Just because I was stopping so much.
Yeah.
I was stopping, seeing the sights and this and that, and I was always running behind. So then, I'd bang out a couple of extra mile, 1,200 days or whatever, and I'd catch up a little bit. But for the most part, I was always a couple of 100 miles behind. Okay. Anywhere from, even to, I think the most I got behind was right at 1,000 miles.
Damn.
I was like a whole day down. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta quit playing around.
At what point in the ride was that? Like, where were you at? Probably 60, 70?
Yeah, 60, 70, somewhere around there. So
I guess
it sounds easy on paper that, okay, hey, I've got 30 days to make it
it's
up.
Like being down 10 points in a basketball game, but it's like the second quarter, and then you never make it up.
Yeah.
It's like, I got 5 minutes left.
It was I did make it up, but, from the get-go, I started out that, I was going to make it fun. If I'm going to take all this time and spend all this money, do all this, and I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to make sure, I'm not just going to blast up and down the freeway just to say I did 100,000 miles. So my thing was I'm going to have fun with it. And, if I check up short, if I don't finish it and I don't make it, I still had a killer ride.
Yeah.
Who's going to complain about doing 80, 90,000 miles in 100 days and seeing all kinds of cool shit, you know? So to me, it was still a success, still raised a ton of money for charity and all that. So that was I wasn't going to deviate from that plan. Mm-hmm. There were some days where, I was doing highway miles just because I needed to get across the country to something I wanted to see, or I knew I needed to make up some miles. But for the most part, I stuck to my plan.
Yeah.
Hey, go see this, go check this out, go ride this road, whatever it is. And, just however long it took, did that. And because I know, like, the last day, I told you those last couple weeks were hard. The very last day before I rolled in, I literally got like an hour's sleep. I rolled into the hotel, went up, slept for an hour. A buddy of mine, David Uhl, met me out there, out in West Texas. Where was it? Somewhere close to Big Bend out there. I don't remember the name of the town, but literally got an hour's sleep just because I was so far behind. Like, got to get up, got to make up this, and rolled into town. Then
I've noticed that, like, there was a wave a couple years ago where everybody was, or when I say everybody, like in like the Instagram world, like it became a ride 1K in a day challenges. All these things were going on, and a lot of people were kind of doing it, promoting it. But I not to, if you do it badass, like however you do it, that's cool. I found it to be, I wouldn't want to do it just running circles around town. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's go to Houston and back and back and back and back. Like, I don't want to do that. I've always liked doing it on my trips. Like, we did a camp out in Florida, and it's right at 1,000 miles from Inglis, Florida to here. So we all did it. You know what I mean? And that shit's fun, and it kind of like saves us a day, so we don't have to get a hotel somewhere, right? But yeah, man, that I could see getting behind and maybe creating a little bit of anxiety, like, is it going to happen? Because what else could possibly go wrong? Could my body shut down again? Kind of thing going through it. I could see that being a little bit more taxing on the mind. When you did that first Hoka Hey, you were saying it's like a mind game. Like, what do you think it really does? And do you think that like doing these type of riding has kind of like helped you mentally, like in life outside of motorcycling in a way?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how would you kind of say that it's kind of helped?
Yeah, just kind of the way that you approach things, and just that mental aspect to them. Any of these rides. I mean, even if you want to get on the freeway and just ride down I-10 for 1,000 miles. Yeah. Right out to El Paso and back, or whatever the case may be. It is still going to be a mental strain. You're still going to have to overcome that. The guys who ride 5,000 miles a year on their bike or whatever, it's tough for them to. For them to just get up and, hey, I'm going to go ride 1,000 miles, even if it's straight highway, it's going to be tough. They're going to take, 20 to 30-minute rest stops, an hour here and, all these extra stops, and it's going to wind up taking them. They're barely going to slide in under the wire at, 23 hours on the highway. Whereas once you overcome that and you get the experience and all that, I mean, a lot of long distance riders, I mean, it's a 15 to 16 hour ride. I mean, it's 5-minute gas stops.
That's how I got
all secondary roads. Stop and make 15, 20 stops for pictures, whatever, and it's not a problem. It's just that mindset of, okay, you gotta overcome it, just push through it and do it, and kind of you approach that on things outside of riding or whatever, it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, I can't say, like, I feel like riding, mainly for me, riding solo on a big trip or just being out on the open road. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I there's layers in my mind where there's like this surface layer of shit that's going on right now in front of me or immediate in my life, and then it starts breaking down and getting deeper and deeper, almost like a meditation, if you will, or something like that. And I don't know, like I've probably figured out how to become a millionaire 5 times in a trip and then forget it. It's like being a dream almost sometimes. I feel
I've solved all the world's problems. I did that on this ride. So, fixed the deficit, how everything. I've solved them all. Yeah. So, it's you just got to figure out what motivates you, what keeps you going, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were kind of asking that same thing about what you do. One of the things that I do if I'm in that is I build a house. Yeah. Like in my head, like, build your dream house or whatever, but don't just, okay, hey, I'm going to, here's a living room, but like go into detail, like from, the flooring, what kind of handles you're going to put on the cabinets. Yeah. Where is this specific, nail going to go? I mean, just the smallest detail you can come up with and just build it out room by room. How big is it? Hey, it's going to be, 20 feet this way, and I'm going to lay the flooring this way, and I'm going to have this kind of baseboard and this color paint, just all this stuff. And before you know it, you've blown through an hour and a half, and you missed your gas stop, you missed your exit because you were just so focused on that. Yep.
That's exactly.
It just takes your mind off of it. So whatever kind of motivates you, just when you get inside your head and find that motivation, just find something to takes your mind off of everything else that's going on. You just keep going.
It's 100% true, man. Like I feel like when I'm on the road, I do that, man. I like, and I guess that's why I've been so trapped lately, because I've been wanting to do a trip. I haven't been on a trip since, and I say trip, I mean just anywhere since like October, and it's usually like every month and a half, like I'm 1,000 miles somewhere. You know what I mean? And I haven't been on a trip at all, and so I feel like I have shit I need to work out, but I can't find a place to work it out, and I feel like the road will let it happen. That's why I was telling you about doing something out in Big Bend and finally knocking that part of Texas off and really seeing it all. And I kind of want to do it solo just so I can kind of dive into my head a little bit and kind of work out some of my issues that I have right now. So it's I don't know, man. It's one of those deals. Like I really love it and how it's gave me a different perspective and things, and it's made me. I guess I've gained patience as well. From being out on the road and just not being so like I just took my son to New York. We drove, obviously, but I wanted him to experience a road trip, and I wanted to make a road trip fun for him. Trust me, flying's awesome. I was like, yeah, we could have been here yesterday.
Right.
But, I mean, we saw D.C., we saw Nashville, we hung out in Little Rock. Like, I was like, there's all this country's big and it's full of cool shit, and I'm trying to instill, like, this wanderlust into him as a 12-year-old instead of, like, him getting just used to now. Like, airplane, I'm there.
Yeah.
Fuck everything in between. You know what I'm saying? And being trapped with your thoughts, being bored. You know what I mean? Being bored and having to find a way to deal with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I did the same thing with my daughter when she was 17. I took her to San Francisco and back. We drove, took her to L.A., took her to the beach, took her up the coast, took her to San Francisco, walked around, like, did all that shit. Because I kind of wanted to show her, like, how big this fucking country is. Like, when I was a kid, we didn't. I think the only place we went to was WinStar. You know what I'm saying? And fucking Shreveport. And I was sitting in a hotel while my parents were gambling.
Yeah.
Like, we never traveled. You know what I mean? And once I started traveling, like, I realized how much it changed me. And I wanted to try to find a way in my limited resources to do that for my kids. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You said you had kids young, too. So, how many you got?
3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 25, 24, and 21.
Oh, yeah. So. How do they take your trip? Like, what they say about it?
I mean, I don't know.
Do they ride into any of that type of stuff?
I mean, my boys into dirt bikes. My daughter doesn't, but my boys, they like their dirt bikes. They kind of grew up on motorcycles as well. So
that's cool.
So I'm sure they're proud of me or like it, but they don't say a whole lot about it. So just kids.
Yeah. I always ask my son, I was like, I'm cool, right?
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
A lot of people think I'm cool. You know what I mean? And he's just like, okay, Dad, I get it,
Well, I tell people I did something right because I raised 3 geniuses because my kids know everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth. Yeah, man, it was, the other thing I got my notes right here. So you have the Pan Am now, right?
Yes.
And how long you've had that for a while now, huh? Since it came out?
I have. Yeah, I got it actually like a couple of days before I took off for the IBR. So
what made you want to get that bike versus the normal street
just an
bikes?
adventure bike, something different, get a little more off-road stuff. So, dual sport, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Has the community kind of been an inspiration to you wanting to kind of try some of those different types of the Trans American Trail or what the fuck is it? TAT or something like that?
TAT, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, obviously that's something, that's on the list of stuff to do. All the BDR roads and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely the kind of the perfect bike for that. I mean, dirt bikes, I love dirt bikes. I grew up on dirt bikes. I dirt bike riding over, that enduro style, trails and that kind of stuff is way more fun than a street bike. But you're just not gonna, you're not gonna get the amount of riding that you are on a street bike.
True.
You're not gonna bang out 1,000 miles every day on a dirt bike, on trails. You just can't do that. So just a different type. So this is kind of a little bit of both worlds.
I guess I was really considered heavily getting into it about 2018 or 19. When I bought my last Road Glide, I was literally like, okay, Road Glide or BMW, right? And I was like, fuck, man, I really want to try this adventure bike stuff out, but my whole business is wrapped around Harley, right? Like, I don't think my world's going to transition into the adventure bike world.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck about paint jobs except for Danger Dan, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it. I didn't grow up on dirt bikes, you know what I mean? And every time I've ever ridden them, since I started on street bikes, it's like everything that makes me feel safe on a street bike is what people love about a dirt bike, like having traction, losing it, things like that, versus when that shit happens to me, like, I'm like, what the fuck happened? You know what I'm saying? On a sport, on a street bike. But I don't know I feel like if I lived out west where there's a little bit more land that we can kind of just go and be on versus kind of here in Texas, I don't know. I could be just talking out of my ass right now, but I don't know if there's a lot of places you can go off-road around Texas, is there?
Oh, yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially out Big Bend area, out there.
Yeah.
All over. There's all kinds of dirt roads and off-roading stuff, and you got the national forest down by me, and
Yeah, Sam Houston or something.
yeah. So I mean, there's all kinds of great riding like that. So
Have you always lived in Houston?
no, I grew up in a little town up in the Panhandle, Texas.
Okay, yeah, I like that a lot better than Houston.
Yeah,
Dude, Houston's a tough one, man. Every time we go to Houston, remember we went to Houston for that stunt riding deal? It was a fucking wild time. It's so hood down there.
I don't know. I like Houston more than this area.
Here we go.
I'm not a Dallas fan, so yeah, it's that battle.
Yeah.
Houston and Dallas. So y'all's traffic sucks.
Well, y'all's traffic sucks, and it's fucking you're sweating armpits, fucking in the AC out there. I don't know. There's such rad dudes down in Houston. You know what I mean? The bike scene's always been really great down there. It's just, I guess that stretch between here and Houston is so boring to me.
Oh yeah.
That
Riding in Texas is boring.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. Like on my ride, the worst part of the trip was coming back for service.
Yeah.
Just because I knew I had to spend, a whole day in Texas. I mean,
So let me ask you this: take Big Bend out of the equation. What's your favorite area to ride in Texas?
There's not.
There's not,
That's what I'll tell you. There's not a whole lot. There's some good roads up in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
But nothing too major. I mean, I guess you got the hill country.
Eh.
The
Twisted
sisters, but
Sisters
it's
is
not.
kinda-
Yeah, it's not all that.
I've
If
always-
you don't know of anything else, then I guess it's okay. But if you've ridden some other shit out there, some real stuff or whatever, it's not.
So I
It's
feel
just
like
not that great.
here in Dallas, the hill country and Talamine are basically the same distance, right?
Yeah.
200 miles ish. And I feel like Talamine is so much better. And
yeah.
once you do it, there's other similar things like that out there,
Right.
And there's not a lot of people out there. And then, but I love the hill country. I like the vibe of the hill country, like the, just the scene, I guess, if that's what you would call it. But I finally rode it a couple years ago because everybody and their mom was like, "Hey, you ride the Twisted Sisters? It's so badass." And I rode it after I'd ridden PCH and $1 Million Highway and all these things in Sturgis. I was like, that shit sucked.
Yeah.
Like it was.
That's what I was saying. If you've never been anywhere else, it's a great ride. But if you've experienced all the other cool shit that's out there, then it's okay.
Yeah,
and it's what we have.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah, and then it's all like that gravel that, like, if you're not the front bike, your bike's getting pounded with rock chips, which matters to me because we have painted bikes. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't. There used to be a show in New Braunfels called Giddy Up, and it was like a little chopper show, but they had like camping there, and it was right there on River Road that just kind of snakes along one of those rivers. I forget which one it is, but a lot of tree canopies, like just fucking beautiful. And it's always in spring, like right around late March. And I just fell in love with that area. And so we would go down there and do that and then go hit like some of the Twisted Sisters and some of the other like Fredericksburg and all those different areas over there,
Yeah,
But
there's some good side roads out there. There's some,
Yeah.
some good secondary rides and that, that are off the Sisters or whatever. But
there's this gap of Texas that I haven't ever touched yet. Obviously Big Bend, but like that in between 10 and 20, San Angelo and like all that in between. Like, have you ever been in any of that stuff? Is there anything kind of?
there's nothing out there. There's some flat roads.
Oh, man,
So
it sucks.
flat roads and a lot of trucks.
Yeah. What about fuck? I was looking at your map earlier of all the stuff you had ridden, but fuck, what was the quit?
Going to the notes.
Run commercial on this one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, man, there's so many areas, and like I said, you've done it all now. What are some of the other things? I noticed that you just send in some of the stuff, paperwork for some other rides that you did on the big ride to get the certificates for. Like, what were some of those?
Yeah, I had a bunch of rides that I still need to get submitted or whatever. But the 48 and 10, that was a good ride. The 100 CCC, that's that's an amazingly boring ride.
Is that all
Just interstate, basically Indian. Yeah. I mean, I did 10, but that's on that one. I had to break it up. It was just it's an easy ride.
Yeah.
all things considered, I mean, obviously some people, if you hadn't done a lot of long distance ride, it might be a little difficult or whatever. But if you're an experienced rider, then it's not. There's nothing to it. You got plenty of time. So that's when I got to go do something else, and I took like a 200-mile detour north up, New Mexico to go hit the catwalks and walk around there. And I shot a video there and kind of hung out there and checked out the scenery and all that. And then, same thing in California. I shot up to Salvation Mountain and
dude,
messed around there. And
I was close to there because I was trying to take pictures. I got one posted on the wall out there. I went to Yuma last March, and I rode there doing podcasts. Like I did a whole all the way to San Francisco and back run with podcasts, and I've been wanting to go to fucking Salvation Mountain and all that stuff ever since I watched that movie Into the Wild. You seen that? With the kid that gets out of college and then drives and becomes homeless and ends up dying because he ate some berries up in Alaska or some shit. But it's like a wanderer thing, like the Scooter Tramp type thing.
Okay.
But so that Salvation Mountain was pretty heavy in that movie, and I was like, that's fucking wild. And then I started looking into more of these kind of towns that never took off around the Salton Sea or some shit right there, and I was like, fuck, man. As a guy shooting photos, I wanted to go to Glamis to get some sunrise photos on the sand, which I got some cool shit. But then I was like, fuck, man. I do want to go do this Salvation Mountain. But I was kind of don't people live there? Is it not a little kind of weird, being a tourist and they're kind of this off the grid type society, if you will?
It is, but they expect it.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, people roll through there, every day, so they're kind of used to it.
The whole come and get a selfie with the
yeah, they do their own thing.
Okay.
They stay in their little, they've got trailers or campers or whatever it is, and they're kind of off the road back. And most people aren't going up messing with them. There's the big main attraction, and then you're just kind of taking pictures along the road down the way or whatever. Cool. So you're not really, you don't really see a whole lot of people.
Yeah, that little stretch of 10 right there, once you cross into California before you get into San Diego, is pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, it's not bad. That and 8, when you peel off on 8 right there.
Yeah.
So both of those are pretty decent.
Oh, yeah, true. So, because 8, so did you do 10 all the way to L.A.? Because I forgot 10 doesn't go to San Diego there. Yeah, that's weird. So you dropped down to do Salvation Mountain and then back up, or?
Went back up.
Okay.
It's north, so shot up there, did that. I think I did it on the way back. So.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Went into L.A., stayed there. Then came back in that morning. I went up there and got it because I got it right at sunrise, so I got some cool sunrise pics coming right over the mountain there. So
yeah, I think the pic I used for the podcast cover was the one that you were at Salt Flats, I believe.
Yeah,
the fucking place is
amazing,
that
was a cool picture. That's, yeah. So
that the first time I ever went there was with my wife. We were driving to NorCal and we stopped by there, and it wasn't like that time where it was underwater, right? And it was just another one of those places like Monument Valley. The only difference is that the highway's right there. Mm-hmm. So you still feel like you're connected to civilization in some kind of weird way. But because when you're in Monument Valley, it's you're kind of alone, and then there's a car, and then it goes by, and then there's nothing.
That's it, yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, okay, now we're back to now I'm transported back in the time kind of thing. But it's still this deadening sound or feeling. Have you done White Sands? I know you've ridden by it, but White Sands kind of had that vibe to me. I went up into the park and kind of walked around it a little bit once, and it was something about thick sand like that just kind of does something to sound, in my opinion. It kind of absorbs it or some shit. So it just, I don't know. I feel like you can hear your heartbeat or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of.
I mean, there's just so much cool shit out there to see that. No, I'm good right now. Okay. Thank you. So
trying to get fucked up.
Right? Yeah. Be a fun ride home. I mean, there's so much cool shit out there to see. I mean, like I said, I haven't even seen a fraction of it. So,
did you end up doing Key West on this last trip?
No,
you didn't.
No, I hate Florida.
Dude, thank you. Somebody said it finally. Florida lately has been getting very stingy with bikers' attention, in my opinion. There's just so many events that take place in Florida all the time, and a lot of our friends live in Florida, so it's that's the other draw that we've been going back there quite a bit to hang out with them. But fuck, dude, everybody's getting ready for Daytona. It's all you hear about for 4 months is Florida, Daytona. It's going to be crazy, and it's there's nothing. There's one ride there. It's the wildlife loop, and it's
Yeah. Just I mean, going down to Key West is such a time suck with the traffic or whatever.
Yeah,
No, I wasn't even.
Yeah.
I didn't need that. So
Have you gone through like the Everglades and stuff? I want to ride
Yeah.
that. I want to check out that shit.
Yeah.
Have you ridden and then like an alligator was like on the side of the road yet?
I haven't seen them on the side of the road like that.
I
no.
want to see that
Yeah.
shit. When I met my wife, she was living in Fort Lauderdale, so I flew out there to meet her, hang out. Fucking iguanas everywhere. It kind of freaked
Right.
me out. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, these are pets. You can just take one.
Right.
I guess they hiss at you or some shit like that. But yeah, there's like a different vibe down there for sure. The other thing, like, you said that on Danger Dan's podcast, like you have dipped into like Mexico and shit recently on the Pan America. Is that how is that? Like, have you done a lot of Mexico things?
I haven't. No, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
We all went down to, a bunch of us went down to Big Bend. We're going to make it a yearly trip. Rode over into, we got a buddy that lives down there in Terlingua.
Yeah.
So we rode over into Mexico, met up with one of his friends over there, went to eat and ride around.
Chill.
And it was great
No
riding.
cartel
Good.
activity?
No, it didn't have any issues at all. So
I want to go to Mexico so
people are
fucking
scared
bad.
of that. And there's no reason for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's out there. It's just like, but you have that shit here, and we have it in Houston, and
Yeah. We don't have it here.
yeah, okay.
We just kill rappers up here.
yeah, exactly. So,
But the other thing is like with all the stuff in the country, have you gotten like the bug for international at all yet? Like, is it feasible for you?
oh yeah, I mean, I want to. There's a lot
Yeah.
of places I want to ride.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of my.
But is
on my
it
hit
like
list, so.
is it like I want to ride there, or I want this to be some kind of long journey type situation through like all of Europe or South America type shit? Like how are you approaching it in your mind, like as to how you would want to do those type of things?
I haven't really planned it out yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anyone I'm planned yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I once I say okay, I'm gonna go here, then I might work on it a little bit. But I'm more just kind of show up and ride it and find some cool stuff to ride and do that. There's a few main roads or attractions or whatever each place that you want to see, and then I just kind of figure it out from there. So
I'm sure you watched like the long way up, round, all those things. Were those kind of motivational to you? Because they fucking lit a fire up under my ass.
yeah, I mean they are, but it's I can motivate myself.
Okay,
I've got things I want to do.
I'm like
but
I need to be exposed to things. Like I need to see someone do it, and then like, that looks fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, oh look, it's your buddy calling.
Dan.
No, 100%. Like I that long way up. Like I heard a podcast Dan did a long time ago with the guy that did like the southernmost tip of South America all the way up.
Right.
And then I was like, fuck, that sounds like kind of feasible. Like, it's still connected to this continent, even though there's the whole, the part that we have to take a boat around. But at the same time, like I felt like it'd be, I don't know that I'll financially ever get to a point in life to be able to afford to do Europe the way I would want to do Europe or, Africa.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to try that,
Yeah.
But South America seems like a feasible situation, even if it's like ride from here to there and then turn around and come back or some shit like that.
Right.
And then watching that long way up, it was like, it was annoying because of the electric bike thing, It's like unnecessary drama to just fucking get a gas bike, dude.
Right.
Make it something different besides like trying to be eco-friendly or some shit. But
Try to
those
promote
shots,
it.
those shots, those areas, especially down in like Argentina and Chile down there, it's like, fuck, dude, I would kill for that.
Oh yeah.
Just to be able to ride some of that. Even the shitty parts where they're on the dirt road stuff or whatever, it's like fucking beautiful, man.
Oh yeah.
I want to see it. I want to experience it.
Yep.
I bought a Patagonia jacket.
Okay, so you're ready.
I'm fucking
You're
ready,
ready.
dude.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. So.
But yeah, so what do you think? Like, what do you think would be the first? Or do you think you'd like just keep dipping deeper into Mexico and then try to touch South America, or what would you do?
Probably. I mean, right now that would be most feasible. That would
Yeah.
be the easiest.
I feel like there's. Was it Ron White? Comedian Ron?
yeah.
He had that bit talking about let's just buy Mexico and
Yeah.
fix
Right.
it up and flip it and shit like that. Like I bet that would be so sick because there's so much cool shit in Mexico. It's just the structure isn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, dude, I would love it. Even like that Motorcycle Mania a long time ago with Jesse James and Kid Rock when they did that whole dipping into Mexico was like badass. In my opinion.
There's some good riding down there, some cool stuff to see. And that's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, there's just so much stuff to see out there, so many places to go that, you know, you'll never get to all of them. You'll never get to see it all. So you just got to kind of choose your poison, you know, find something that interests you and just make the time to, you know, go do it, carve it out, and go hit it.
They're what'd you say the guy's name when they did 45,000 miles in 45 days? Like, this community of you crazy motherfuckers, like, where do y'all hang out at? Like, what's the forum? What's the like so people can be exposed to that more, and you know what I mean? Like, because I know those conversations have to take place somewhere.
There's the IBA forum on Facebook. There's a long distance motorcycle riding, you know, page on Facebook. Most of those, and there's always, you know, little get-togethers here and there.
So the get-together thing would be cool. It's like if I mean, I know that everybody's kind of got to pass the that dude's cool kind of test, right? Like, you don't want to just go do any kind of riding with just a bunch of random people and shit, but I don't know, man. Like, that, to me, it's just a little bit more inspiring right now you know, and especially since you still drink. I mean, it'd be different. It's like, oh, no, I don't drink because I need a drink after a good day's ride. Right. Like, I need a beer just to kind of like, hell yeah.
Everyone's got their own, you know, got their own system. You know, everyone's got their bike set up, you know, that, you know, a certain way that fits them or whatever. And that's one of those things that, you know, somebody new who, you know, wants to start long distance ride or anything like that, they always ask, you know, hey, what do I need? How do I set my bike up on all this? And it's just, I can't tell you how to set your bike up.
Yeah, for sure. You got to do some trips.
You got to figure it out. You know, trial and error. This works for me. I've got mine set up, and you know, I thought I had my bike set up and my systems and everything all dialed in when I did this big ride. There are some things I figured out. Okay, this really doesn't work. You know, in the long term, you know, a couple of days it's good, but after that, you know, I've got to make some tweaks, you know, so you just got to kind of figure out what works for you.
So you were saying that some of the legs that you would do would be 350 miles. Like, to me, like that, I'd be going crazy. Like, like I'm a good 150 before I stop, or I can push it to maybe 200 if I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a whole tank out of this one, right? You know, but I don't know if I could, like, 350. I don't know if I could, like, I need to walk around for a second, you know, stretch out my legs in a different position, things like that. I guess I did start standing up on my pegs, and that helps out a lot. But yeah,
I do that. I mean, there's, you know, with the highway pegs, and you've got the rear, you know, the rear ones. There's so many different positions you can put your legs in to stretch, and standing up sometimes and all that. It's just, again, it just goes back to that mindset and that, you know, that mental game of, you know, gotta keep pushing. There's no way I could complete that ride. Stopping every, you know, 200 miles or whatever. I mean, even if it was only for a couple of minutes over that period of time, that's, you know, many hours that were gone that I didn't, you know,
makes sense.
I couldn't sacrifice. So
it's going to chip away all the way.
Yeah. So you've got to pretty much go tank to tank. And that's when I got to that point, you know, where, hey, I'm stopping too much. It's not doing. I know my body was done. My body needed rest. So it made sense to go ahead and sacrifice, call it early, get a good night's sleep, and wake up fresh, you know, and go again, and then be able to make up those miles.
That makes sense.
And it worked out good. You know, I had to make some adjustments at the end because typically I like to start my long rides around anywhere between 4 and 7 o'clock at night because I want my night part to be
born
first.
in Texas,
Well, first, Texas. I know all the roads. You know, I'm not going to miss anything. I'm fresh. I'm not tired. And then I wake up, and that sun comes up, burst of energy, boom, and then I finish. So that's kind of my thought process. Kind of the way I've always done it, and that's what I prefer.
And so are you riding from 4 and then all the way, like, kind of like almost a 24-hour awake
Well,
cycle?
It just depends on what I'm doing. So, like, if I'm just out for a 1,000-mile ride or whatever, then I'll know I'll finish, you know, anywhere between 15 to 18 hours, depending on how many stops I make or whatever. So,
okay,
you know, if I'm doing 1,500 miles doing a BBG or something like that, then it's gonna be 22 hours, 22, 23 hours. So I definitely want to get my night portion out of the way, you know. Then
it makes sense.
You know, get it out of the way early.
You can kind of, you know, especially like, you know, you get out, if you're going east, like, you can avoid a lot of the traffic situation that ends up happening on some of that stuff because those towns get smaller and the roads get less. And the neighborhoods never end. You know what I mean?
And everyone's different. You know, some people like to leave at midnight. You know, some
Yeah.
people like to leave at 2, 3, 5 in the morning. Whatever. And then they're worried about the sun. Hey, I want the sun at my back or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I got to a point where I was so excited to leave that I couldn't go to sleep.
yeah.
So I would get fucked up and pass out. And then, and then that stopped working. And then next thing you know, I'd be, it got to the point where the drinking didn't work. So I'd have to take like an edible just to like get bliss out of my mind, just so I could fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? And it got tough to the point where it's like, I would want to try to go sleep at like 3 p.m. so I could get up at like 12 or some shit to get on the road, just so I can have at least 5-6 hours of sleep.
I mean, if you can't sleep, then just get on the bike and take off.
That's what I would start doing, and then I'd end up
you'll
sleeping.
sleep. You'll sleep somewhere. You'll get
Yeah.
sleepy, and then that's you'll pull over and grab a couple hours sleep and back on it.
I'd always tell my wife we would be driving to California. I'm like, yeah, I slept in that Flying J right there. I had Denny's right there, and then I went to the trucker lounge and took a 3-hour nap that I overslept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I would do that and just sleep through those really, really cold parts of the morning. Because I also like packing out the bike. Like, say if you leave, like going to California, I usually would do March, April, May-ish in those times. So it's still fucking cold as shit at night, or especially early in the morning. So like, I don't want to take a big leather jacket because then it's like hard to pack it out and stuff like that. So I would try to like avoid that situation there, but I still wanted to make the time with the run. I got stuck in Van Horn once on the way back from California, and the cold front came through, and it was like the high of the day was 25, and I was like, I had none of this gear, and I was like buying everything that Love's had and it was a Sunday, so none of the dealerships out in West Texas were open to get like, it was a shit show.
Yeah, that's where gear comes into play. You know, you got to have the right gear. That's what we were talking about earlier, like the climb gear they wear, and then having the right undergarments, and then if you got the heated gear, and just having all that stuff.
That you said it's climb. So where do you get that at? Like, what do you think the benefits of that versus like, and you said it's rain gear too. Like it keeps all the water out and shit.
Yeah, it's Gore-Tex and obviously all the padding and all that. I mean, it's it's great gear. Waterproof, so you just don't have to stop. You wear it year round. I mean, it works in the summertime, works in the wintertime, and then just if you have the right undergarments under that, it takes away, it eliminates leathers and rain gear off your bike, which, I mean, that's a whole saddlebag.
Exactly.
So
leathers, like, I feel like that's just old technology now. It's so hard to pack it out. You know what I mean? I mean, a cool leather jacket's cool as shit, but at the same time, it's like you can't, even on a bagger, like you said, it takes a whole saddlebag.
It's a whole saddlebag for that stuff. So
I think layering is where it's at, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So.
Chip away as it gets warmer and add as it gets colder. What kind of helmet have you been riding with?
The Climb TK1200.
So they have, okay.
Yeah.
Is this all like adventure bike type shit?
No. It's road bike.
Okay.
The TK1200, I believe, is the lightest helmet on the market.
For real? And
that's kind of what I was shooting for. It's a great helmet. I like it. Like we were talking about downstairs, I'll try out the Simpson next.
Yeah.
Just to see.
So the bell right there, the Star helmet, I did that one year, actually on that trip, and a lot of great technology in the helmet. Very nice, very comfortable, but it's fucking heavy. Like, pick it up real quick. Just
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is heavy.
It's heavy, and so like my neck would kill me, and I would tell people. Do you know what I love the most about it? It has a magnet for the little thing, and I just like. It's just, to me, it's better than a button.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, like, it was so heavy, it would fucking hurt my neck after a 300 or 400 or 500 mile day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had an HJC before that, and I would notice a difference. As the day goes on, it started getting heavier, and then when I went to that Climb helmet, world of difference.
Yeah.
The neck. So
what people will mainly complain about with helmets is like the lighter the helmets, the more loud they get, right? And some people forget that they're riding a motorcycle and they want it to be as quiet as a car, and it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And so the more like the more closed off the helmet is and the thicker everything is, and essentially the more heavy it is, the quieter the helmet can be. But, you know, if you're doing long miles, and that becomes a factor. If you just want to ride the bike nights or fucking the local bars, then you're going to be okay with that. But
yeah, there's always going to be a sacrifice, and you just got to figure out what works for you. You know, I see people like you're saying asking for, you know, hey, I want a helmet that has no wind noise or anything like that. I'm like, you're riding a fucking motorcycle. You're going to have wind. You know, that's part of it.
It's called a Kia, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Go get you one.
So, you know, you buy something that you're happy with, and you're going to have some noise. I mean, there's no, like I said, there's no perfect helmet out there that eliminates everything, super light and all that. I mean, just doesn't exist.
Helmets too, just like bars and seat, in my opinion, are completely personal preference to your body type.
Yeah.
And, you know, broad shoulders, not long arms, long legs. You know, when you sit, like, where's the pressure points on your ass? Like, which also has to do with, like, how tall your legs are. Because if you have longer legs, your legs on the floorboards might be higher, which puts your ass in a different spot. So there's, like, so many things. Like, those are the main things people want to know off the bat. Like, hey, what's the helmet? You know, what's the set of bars? What's the perfect height? And it's like, that all depends on you, man.
Everybody's different. But like you were saying, I mean, that's one of the things where that's why I use the Wild Ass seat cushion.
Yeah, so what is up with that? I saw that.
That makes a big difference. You know, everybody wants a custom seat or whatever. But the thing is, when you get like a custom seat, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's your position. You know, Wild Ass, I mean, it's adjustable pretty much. I mean, it's an unlimited position. So you can, you know, pull the padding forward, and it's a whole different set of pressure points. You move it back, a whole different set. I mean, when you get it dialed in, you know, with the air, you know, it's one of those things you don't just blow it up and leave it, you know, completely, you know, 100% full or whatever. You basically blow it up, and then you're letting air out, you know, and then ride for a few minutes, kind of figure it out. You got to get it dialed in. It takes, you know, an hour or two to get it dialed in.
Is it like easy to remove and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a zipper. The whole thing comes out, but just, you know, you get down there, blow it up, air it up real quick, and then as you're riding, you can just reach down and open it up, let a little bit of air out until you get to what, you know.
Feels good.
Yeah, and again, that's personal preference. Everyone's different. I mean, you know, I think I run about where it's probably 30 to 40% inflated. Some people might want 20, some people might want 80. It's just, you know, everybody's different. But once you get it dialed in, then like I said, I mean, sometimes I'll just reach down and kind of pull it up just so I'm sitting at a different spot on it.
Yeah.
Different, you know, different comfort levels on pressure points, whatever.
I think
you're just
that's
moving it around. You just got so many different options that
you're
just not stuck in the same position.
The balance between, you know, I wanted to ask you this too about like customizing motorcycles, right? Like the visuals, those kind of things. But for me, I've always had tried to have a cool bike painted, you know, cool guy parts, things like that. But then there's certain things that the most comfortable things are not the coolest looking things on the bike. Like the most comfortable seat is definitely like not cool looking. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so there's like this thing, because I came through this side of the industry coming up where visually I needed the bike to look good before I needed to be the most comfortable thing, and trying to find a balance between comfort and cool to be able to do the trips that we do. But have you ever got to that point where you looked at a bike as to, I wanted to make it more customized or more personalized, or are they just like more machines that you?
Yeah, it's more of a tool.
Yeah.
Like my bike, I don't care about washing my bike. My bike is a tool. You know, I'm not, you know, like you said, your bikes are, you got the custom paint and all this other stuff on it. It just doesn't, I'm not there. I'm more about function. You know, I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't care if it looks stupid. You know, I want to put some extra lighting, you know, on there. I don't care what it looks like. It serves a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, same with the seat or whatever. It's just whatever the
makes
function,
the most comfortable.
You know, function. It's got to suit my style. Got to suit my type of riding. You know, it's got to. Hey, what's the benefit if I add this or whatever? So you know, I'm not into the custom paint. You know, on your end. In that kind of stuff, or you know, fixing up the engine, or all these modifications, or you know, hey, I need a bigger engine because I need to go, you know, 150 miles an hour or whatever. That's not me. I don't care about all that. So stock engine's fine. I'll never, you know, because I mean, you might be able to run 150 miles an hour, but how long are you actually going to do that? It's not like you're going to just an hour straight of 150. You know, you're going to hit it, but what, for 30 seconds? You know, or, you know, whatever. So I don't need to spend $4,000
exactly
to do that, or to be able to tell the guy at the bar, hey, I can run 150 or whatever. I'm like,
You be that other guy on Facebook, like,
I can cruise at 85 or 90. A stock bike does that all day long. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like, I guess, and this we were talking about earlier before we went on the podcast about like what was this? Goddamn. Online strips without clothing. Dude, you might want to click that and see if it's any good. No, but yeah, that's always been the hard part because my whole motorcycle career has been in the custom side.
And that's your business though, so you've got to stick to that. So,
but I've tried to not purposely, but because my passion is riding, right, going places, traveling on my bike. I've had to kind of dual purpose the situation to make paint jobs or bikes become still travelable. It's a good word. I just made it up.
There you go.
But at the same time, because we're all the social media shit, right? We were talking about that earlier. It's kind of it's a lot, but having my bike look the way it looks and taking the pictures of it in these places, it goes a little bit more, air quotes, viral, if you will, and it gets us more attention. It helps draw more attention to everything that we do.
Right.
So it's kind of a,
Yeah, and you've got to go there. I mean, like you said, that's your business. That's what you do. So,
yeah. The best part is like when you go to strokers and like you pull up on the bike and you just got to wash and some dude's like, that dude doesn't ride anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a guy like you. I don't feel like you would walk up to most people. I mean, I get drunk and I'm the complete opposite dude. I'm doing everything I say I would never do. Right. Yeah. I'm talking shit for no fucking reason. Right. But it's always funny when you, like, to me, I'll be there at Strokers or someplace like that, and all these guys walk up and go, he doesn't ride it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Facebook. I could go and, like, well, actually, sir, here's me on the bike on so-and-so road, 99 through California. Have you ever been there? Yeah. But, like, it doesn't serve any purpose, right, to do that shit. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just kind of rambling.
Check the odometer. That's...
Yeah, it's one of those deals. I think it's cool to have motorcycles have always been like an expression thing, for me. Like I want my bike to kind of be like when I take pictures of it, like when it was solid black Road Glide, like I would take pictures of it in these mountains. I'm like, well, fuck, now this bike's in this badass fucking mountain range because this is the same bike that everybody else has. But then when you personalize it, it becomes like this unique thing. And honestly, your big ass tank on the back of it is kind of a personalization in itself that makes your bike unique to you and what you've done on it. As opposed to if you didn't have the tank, we'd be like, it'd be another ultra classic, right? Or a limited
Road Glide, limited,
right?
Yeah.
But
and a lot of people run the auxiliary tanks and
I didn't even know that was a thing either.
Yeah. I mean,
that's cool.
The majority of them do.
Yeah.
But you just got to figure out, like we were talking earlier, what setup works for you, I mean, like I got I don't know if you saw a little Tupperware thing on my handlebars, just my little snack box that I'll put jerky or whatever in. I mean, I've got a tank bag, and a lot of people just put it in their tank bag, but to me it's kind of a pain in the ass digging it out of the tank bag or whatever, so I just like it right there. It's nice and simple for me to read. Some people don't like that. They don't want to mess with that. They're fine getting in their tank bag, and that's, that's their setup. This is my setup.
That's the thing that I was, because I was showing you my new helmet, which, you're the one I'm going to be running this year. I haven't run a modular in a while, and because of that, I wanted to be able to, I want a fucking cup holder, man, and with a drink and some snacks.
Yeah, drink makes a big difference.
Road snacks, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I want that. Because, that's the one thing that I want. Like when you're on the road, you've been riding for a while. You're like, man, if I could just chew on something right now, but in a modular, it's hard. If you have a properly fitted helmet, chewing sometimes it'll start to eat the inside of your fucking cheeks. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this. Yeah. At least with a modular, you pop it up, you get a little bit more face, and you just kind of chew a little bit better.
Yeah, you can always eat snacks or sandwiches or whatever. I mean, we're always eating on the road,
God,
so
you're just making a sandwich.
Got an Arby's sandwich out there.
Grab one from a store or Subway or whatever. I mean, you can stuff half of it in your jacket, and you're eating half a sandwich and. Whatever. It eliminates a stop. It's just one less.
I would love to be on a road, like on a ride with you guys, and I wouldn't even fucking talk the whole time. Just watch all the mannerisms that you guys have, and the way that you just conduct yourselves on the highway. You eat, you do this, you said you bought houses on your trip, and I guess, is that what you do? Are you into real estate kind of stuff?
Yeah, real estate investor, so flip houses and rental properties,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
So it's like, I don't know. I wish I could paint bikes while I was fucking still riding them. But I was telling you about that.
Yeah. I'll take one more if you don't
Ready?
mind.
Ready for that Blue Thunder?
Yeah.
You know how we found this beer?
How's that?
Me and the
It's
boys.
actually not bad. It's good stuff. So
Another one.
yeah,
Turned them out. Getting these Houstonians on it, man.
yeah,
We left Sturgis last year, and we did Yellowstone, right? And Yellowstone, we did Beartooth Pass, little town called Red Lodge. Fucking love that town. I'm sure you've been through it.
Oh yeah,
Really fun
Where I
town.
stayed. I stayed there. Yeah.
Love that town. It's really cool. We Sturgis to Red Lodge, and Red Lodge to a campsite in Yellowstone. And Yellowstone was not what we expected. It was beautiful, but it was like a fucking drive-through zoo. And I was like, you're on a bike, you're doing fucking 20 miles an hour, and the first buffalo that someone sees, you act like it's the only fucking buffalo in the whole goddamn park. So everybody fucking crowds it, and you can't get around. And then literally around the fucking next pass, there's a whole fucking field of these motherfuckers, right? And then don't let a bear fucking be visible, because they fucking freak shit out there, and everybody gets out and they go try to touch it almost and shit. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
That's all the national parks, so
Yeah,
they're all the same. So
So we finally made it to the campsite after 30 miles an hour driving from basically the northeast corner all the way to like the split where if you were going to go to West Yellowstone or you go down towards like the geysers and shit like that. And so we get to the fucking campsite. It's like not dark yet, but it's getting close. And we're like, we haven't ate anything because there's no fucking food in Yellowstone. So the campsite has like sandwiches, and we go in there, and you would think we just smoked the biggest bong in the world, because we bought every fucking snack they had, and they had like some whiskey there, and then they had these. And that's the only thing they had was like whiskey and some other shit like that. So we bought the whiskey, and then this is the only beer they had. So we bought one like six pack, went outside and tried it, and then went back in and bought all the rest.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck, this shit's not bad. And it was like a 12 pack of this is like $12. It's like $1 a beer kind of thing. And so then we came back, and it's just it's fun. It's goofy.
Yeah.
It's, and then we started following them on Instagram, and we started, getting, they were available here in Texas, so we started drinking them. HEB carries them. And then ever since then, like I said, we were kind of sponsored by them for a while, but their beer is so cheap, it's not really worth like all the emails it takes to get them to send us beer.
Yeah.
Just go fucking buy a 12 pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Support the cause.
It's good. I like it. So, yeah.
Have you, on your road, like your trips, do you ever get to like, are you a foodie at all? Or are you kind of like just on, you know what I mean? Like, do you ever get this thing like, I want fucking Nashville hot chicken or some type of shit like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's probably the best food that you've had on the road?
Oh man,
Is it the 72-ounce steak in Amarillo?
Man, I don't know. There's so many good spots. So one of the challenges that we do is called the RTE. So I don't know if you've heard of it or look, but you can go on Facebook, and it's called RTE X USA, and it's basically a full map of just hundreds of spots all across the U.S.
Yeah,
and it's like a little contest. And they give prizes each quarter, and it's restaurants, and the majority of them are places to eat, like little hole in the wall places that you've never heard of, never been to, kind of a way to get you out, experience some new things, check it out. And then there's some points of interest, thrown in there too, some cool shit to see. So that's one of those things. Hey, if you're looking for a place to eat, I always pull up that map. Hey, see what's around.
You said it was RTE?
RTE, Ride to Eat.
Ride to Eat, okay.
Ride to Eat, RTE. So, yeah, check that out. The map's on there. You can download the map. So, like I said, anytime I'm going somewhere, like I pulled it up here between Houston and here. There was, each year it's kind of a little bit different, but there was a couple kind of in between here. There's really not now. There's, it's off a little bit. There wasn't just really anything real close that I wanted to pull off for.
Yeah.
But
no, I know what you mean, man, because when you're out, especially getting west and kind of out in the offbeat, it was kind of like finding good food sometimes. Like, of course, when you're in, hell, even when you're in like a place like LA, it's hard to find good food. because there's so much. Just the options become so I don't know, vast, if you will. But yeah, I don't know. Like Montrose, Colorado. I've had some good times there. Good food there too. When we went through there last year was when when all the mask mandates went across the country, and every blue state was like mass Nazis. And Colorado was one of the hardcore ones. Not as hardcore as New Mexico was, but so we stayed in Steamboat Springs, and that we were there early, so we were actually bought beer back at the campsite before the night. Mm-hmm. But the next night we were in Montrose, and Montrose was like, we got there early, tried to find a bar, couldn't find one, ended up raiding a Chili's, had a great time. And we thought, like, fuck, like Chili's, we closed this Chili's down, let's go next door and get some beer, and then we'll go back to the hotel. Well, they stopped selling beer at 10 p.m. because they want people to not, apparently it was like, they don't want people to be out. So go the fuck home.
Yeah.
And every place you had to have a mask. And there was this one little diner there that's like when you go to walk in the door, it says, do not wear a mask in here. This is America, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, fuck yeah, this is our spot right here.
Yeah,
so we ended up going in.
Yeah.
Great fucking breakfast joint. It's like I don't remember the name. I feel like a stupid ass for even bringing it up and not knowing the name for all these people listening. But yeah, it was right there in Montrose. Good times. Mm-hmm. We had to eat outside in parking lots in New Mexico. It was fucking retarded. In tents.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ran across a couple of places on my ride where it was, takeout only or whatever. Yeah. Breakfast was one of them. I don't remember where I was. It was in New Mexico. Pulled up to, some taco joint or whatever. Pulled up. It's takeout only. Man, I'm not going to sit out in the parking lot and eat. I want to sit down. I'm tired. Just want to sit down, take a break.
Yeah. Be
rest,
served.
Eat, kind of get energized and go. So, wind up having to go somewhere else. So.
There was this question up here that popped up, the hotel or the tent. Like you said, you took a tent on that big trip. How many times did you do that situation versus?
I'd planned on doing a whole lot more than I did. I wound up getting a hotel
quite a bit.
Majority of the time. Yeah, just, I knew I was going to get some hotels. I knew there's going to be no way I could do, 100 days of tent camping or, whatever. Kind of like on the Hokays, at 10 days, you can push your body. You can, or that 2 weeks, whatever it is, however long it takes you to finish. But, you can push that. But for 100 days, I knew there's no way. So I knew that I was going to need to get some quality sleep, throughout there. And I just wind up, the majority of the time, just wind up in a hotel. It's just
real
easier, just even if it's only going to be 2, 3, 4 hours, the quality of those couple hours is way better than on the side of the road for 2 hours because you don't get quality sleep there. I mean, you get some sleep, but a sound, an animal, a car, you hear another bike go by or whatever. I mean, you're kind of sleeping with one eye open. Like that, I've got to get whatever.
Yeah.
Every hour helps. So
do you enjoy like the camping, the moto camping kind of atmosphere kind of vibe? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, in any other ride, I'm fine with, sleeping on the side of the road or a tent or whatever. But just on this one, there's just no way you could do that the whole time.
See, when we do our trips, we try to find the coolest places to camp and use those places as like this kind of camping experience. Like we camped in Big Sur once on a big trip, and that was fucking badass. Mm-hmm. Big Sur was dope. We camped here, Monument Valley, really cool campsite there. And the good thing about like places like that is at night, the fucking Milky Way is just bam right there, But we went east last year, so we didn't camp at all, and that kind of the camping is a recharge too, even though physically it's not as good of a rest, but not being in a hotel, not being, just being alone, being kind of outside.
Oh yeah, it's a great time. It's fun. Like I said, I prefer that.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a couple guys or whatever, it's way funner. That's kind of thing with, kind of go back to like the Hokay or whatever. Like I said earlier about you're always leapfrogging people and passing people. When it comes time to sleep, obviously night times when most people sleep.
Yeah.
Whether it's from 8 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning, whatever. You'll run across, because we're all going the same route, or should be.
Yeah.
You'll run across, hey, there's 2 bikes pulled over sleeping, so I'll just dip in there and join them.
Yeah.
And
it's
cool.
So I want to fucking do that shit.
It's fun.
Now.
So.
Does the Hokay sound fun to you at all?
Yeah. If I had a fucking bike that could do it.
You could do it on a Sportster, bro. I'm going to go pee real quick.
I'm not.
You got any questions for him?
So did you do your whole trip solo, or were there points where, you had people that were like following what you were doing, and they would meet up with you to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Had people meet up all the time on the road, which was cool. I enjoyed it. It's not obviously any type of ride like this, you're going to be way better off doing it by yourself. Like we talked about earlier. I mean, you don't want to be worrying about somebody else, whether they can keep up or you can keep up with them, or you break down or they break down. You saw that worry about someone else. So, but to have people meet up along the way is very, very cool. So it made a big difference. Meet up, and some people ride for a couple of days. Some people would ride just for a couple of hours, a few hours, all day, half day, whatever. So it was awesome. It was great.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it was kind of a good a motivator. Got that extra little push. Like, hey, here's somebody else. Get a little burst of energy or whatever.
Yeah, and you can't like, even if your body's tired and you're kind of wanting to just relax and go, at your own pace, when you got somebody that's tagging in with you.
That's right. Gotta keep
like,
going.
I feel like you gotta be at your best.
Yeah. They were asking about maintenance or whatever. I did my maintenance at my home dealer, Republic Harley Davidson in Stafford. So I would cruise back there every 10,000 miles. I would let them know, hey, I'm coming in. Usually like a day in advance, which it was pretty much going to be every 10 days.
Yeah.
So I would tell them, hey, I'm going to show up tomorrow. So they would get me in and out, quick as possible. And I'd use that as a rest stop too. I'd go upstairs and grab a couple hour nap on the couch or whatever.
You had to end up back in Texas for
every 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah. That's what I say. It sucked on that because So I did get 2 oil changes. In Arkansas, Rock City Harley Davidson. I know the guys there, and that they take care of some other guys that actually live there who ride long distance, so they're familiar with it. So I did get 2 oil changes there.
Yeah,
just so I.
So it's like if you were to leave, let's say Houston area, right, and you're gonna go do some Pacific Northwest, like like 3 days there, 2 days there, maybe 2 days, 2,000 miles ish, right, somewhere around there. And then, bam, you're that's crazy.
Right. But I was doing every 10,000 miles.
Yeah, so. But like you said, every 10 days or so,
every
like
10
you
days,
were back.
rolling back through here.
So how are you married and everything like that? So at least you got a chance to see your wife some of this at all.
Yeah, sometimes we didn't. I mean, just in and out. She was working, so we just couldn't.
You said she rides too. Like, what type of riding is she in? Does she ever do any of these type of things?
No, she rides a freewheeler.
Okay.
Harley's little, not the full, the big trike. It's a smaller one.
Yeah.
So basically kind of a stripped down, nothing on it trike or whatever.
Like a trike sporty? Like a sporty trike?
No, I mean it's not like a conversion or kit or anything. It's a true trike. It's called a freewheeler. It's just not it's not the Tri-Glide. Tri-Glide's a big one that's got everything on it. This is just a real stripped down, doesn't come with a radio. I mean, just a nothing bike. Doesn't come with a windshield. Just nothing on it. But she loves it. But I mean, she's good for 400 or 500 miles a day. That's about.
That's
it.
Still pretty damn good, though.
Yeah, she can do that. I mean, but that's kind of pushing it. It's just because of the bike. I mean, it's just not. It's not as comfortable as
for sure.
Like my bike or anything. So.
But so the whole charity situation. I remember you saying on Danger Dan's podcast how what's the name from the Booze Fighters? Riot. So. Did you know that you wanted to put attach a charity to the situation off the rip? Or?
Oh yeah. I mean that a ride like this. I mean you don't want it to go to waste. I mean people are gonna help out. People are gonna donate. I mean it's something that amazing and that cool. So you definitely it's a great platform for that.
Sure.
So I'd called him and said so. Kind of the way it started is in the 2018 Hoka Hey, we were both new. We both didn't know anything about it. So and one of the things with Hoka is kind of raising money for charity, whatever you want. So he showed up in 2018 raising money for Jamesy, which is a friend of his. His kid had Duchenne.
Okay.
So he was basically raising money just for him.
Yeah.
And then from 18 to now just kind of morphed into, hey, there's other kids out there instead of just kind of the one. Let's help more kids or whatever. And he was actually just starting Mile Monsters. I mean, I don't even think the paperwork was finished. And like in January, I called him like, hey, I got an idea. I think I can raise $100,000 for your charity.
Nice.
Let's meet up. I said, I'll come up and see and let's talk about it. He's like, no, he's like, I'm coming down there. So a couple
Where's
days.
he based out of?
New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple days later, he was in Houston. We went to breakfast. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to do 100,000 miles in 100 days. We should be able to raise $100,000.
Yeah.
Just keep theme 100 or whatever. And we're like, everyone's kind of,
So-
because there was him and two other guys, and everyone's just kind of like, damn, that's kind of out there, kind of, hard to believe or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
not really something you can fathom, that kind of ride, So talked about it. We're like, yeah. Then we just kind of from there, just kind of threw shit together and put it together and took off
Made it
from there. I
happen.
mean,
Yeah.
it all moved pretty quick, like from January to when I left in July.
Yeah, that did happen pretty quick. The whole charity though for that situation, what is that? It's like a muscle issue.
Yeah, so it's a form of muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
It just primarily targets, younger boys, younger males. So it's basically just, losing the
muscle mass, yeah.
losing all their muscles or whatever. So pretty much they're all walking or whatever until
So
at some point.
is it similar to like ALS or something like that in a sense, or is ALS maybe for more older?
I mean, it's probably more older, but I guess it's still a degenerative, muscle disease. So they're walking and they're fine and they're normal, and you don't even know they have it until at some point you wind up at a doctor for whatever reason and run tests for it and figure out, okay, hey, this is it's Duchenne. So they'll go from normal walking or whatever to, hey, just walker or whatever, and then it's a wheelchair, and they all eventually wind up wheelchair bound, and then it's just the muscles just
Keep going.
they
Sucks,
have
man.
they don't have that long of a life expectancy or whatever, just the muscles keep shutting down, then it's kind of heart just kind of goes. So it's just
horrible.
it's horrible. I mean, it sucks. So, and that's one of the guys here is Gavin. He's actually from Texas. So that's the. There you go. Can you see it? No.
It'll be there in a second.
Fuck Duchenne. So, we kind of raise money for them, and it's not just it's kind of one of those things to where it's not like the charities where, you donate this money and then you got some CEO that takes 80% of it for his pocket and a little bit of it goes here. This is 100% of this money goes to these kids and to the kids specifically, basically to help them live their best life. So so we got like. One kid out in California, Turbo, we ran across them and we wound up helping them get a new van. He needed a new van so he could actually get around. Kind of been stuck at home. They didn't have the right vehicle to actually get out and go do things or whatever. So
I feel like when you have charities like that you actually see results.
Yeah.
Right. It makes you more motivated to want to be a part of those things because, like toy runs, right? Mm-hmm. We have a big one up here. I don't know if y'all's is big. Now everybody's got a toy run, right? And I've done the one that we have here in Dallas called the Big Texas Toy Run, and it's like everybody rides, and people decorate their bikes like Christmas, and then you go take these toys to this like warehouse or this big collection place, right? And then it goes. You don't know. And I did another one with like a little local bike club, where they went to a neighborhood with a lot of, less fortunate people and handed out toys to people and saw kids get it. And I was like, that's so much fucking better.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's way better. We've got one of those, down in Houston or whatever, where you actually go to the families.
That's so much cool.
You have
like
100 bikes roll up and all bring it in. And that one, kind of all the bikes load their bikes up with stuffed animals or whatever. So all the neighbor kids or whatever coming out, what's going on, you at least give them something.
I'd always be like, I'd always think like, because I felt like most people, I don't want to make fun of their charity, but at the same time, I want to a little bit.
Take the shot.
I'm like, who the fuck wants a teddy bear, dude? This is 2018, 19, 20, right? It's like, they buy these teddy bears because it's cute on the bike as they're riding around and all the people on the side of the highway, right? Yeah. But realistically, like, I want kids to get something like, fuck. I guess a teddy bear is kind of like That's that classic item, right? It becomes
It's
your
got a
friend.
place, yeah. It's got something to hang on to. It's
a legacy
security,
thing, you know.
So, yeah,
but
there's nothing wrong with them. Yeah.
I'd always like go in there and I'm like, okay, I'd like make up this kid in my mind that's just, man, I just want this I want a goddamn Spider-Man toy or something like that, you know. And I want to find the coolest one, not just like the one where the hands don't move or some shit. I hated those toys growing up.
Yeah.
We had like the arms just did this.
Yeah.
I can't make him do anything. It's like that fucking Hulk Hogan there. It's like he does one thing, just sits there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely tell everyone to go. So the charity's Mile Monsters.
Yeah.
You know, you can check out milemonstersinc.com, or Mile Monsters has a Facebook page, Mile Monsters Inc. Check it out. You can see all the cool shit that's going on, all the shit that we're doing. Man. So there's a few of us who, you know, we'll put together some cool kick-ass rides or whatever to raise money. And like I said, just this money's going to the kids. Mm-hmm. You know, you get to see where it's going. We'll go and meet up with them. So Gavin, this one here, you know, we just went to his school, talked to his school.
Yeah, I saw that y'all had the bikes in like the gymnasium type situation. Yeah,
talked to them.
That's pretty dope.
You know, just stuff like that. You know, whatever these kids need. You know, if they need something specific or whatever, and they don't have the means to get it, we'll definitely help out. You know, a van, a chair, a wheelchair. You know, special wheelchair, something like that.
Doing something at the house to make it a little bit more wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, and involve all the other kids too, which is, you know, a lot of them get left out, you know, on some of these other stuff. You know, they're kind of an afterthought, or other charities or whatever don't think about it. So we'll, you know, hey, you got some brothers and sisters or whatever, well, you know, let's give a PlayStation 5 or whatever, give some other stuff to them too. Nice. It's not just all about you. Let's kind of take care of the
change
family
the
or
vibe
whatever.
of the household.
Yeah,
almost,
yeah, just kind of,
you know. That's dope. I dig it.
Yeah,
like
it's fun. So I would definitely say, you know, at least if you're watching, go check it out. Go to the website, go to the Facebook page. You can donate then, or you can get in and be involved. I mean, it's, you know, hey, if you got a cool ride and you want to do something, you know, raise some money. Hey, do that.
Like I said, I'm speaking on like a very ignorant basis here because I don't know how this works. But how do you get how does it work whenever you're trying to make, say, like if we wanted to do a ride, like how do we turn that into something charitable? Or some type of charity? How do we get it to where people can actually donate and all these different types of?
I mean, anyone can set up a fundraiser on Facebook.
Okay.
You know, you could set it up if it's a established charity, you know, a 501(c) or whatever it is. You know, it's a whole lot quicker and easier as far as getting the money or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone can set up a fundraiser and do that or whatever. Like, you know, you could just set one up and get the money. And
birthday things where they're really doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same type of deal. Yeah. So, you know, for like Mile Monsters or whatever, if that's something you want to do, you could just, you know, reach out and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Help you guys out, raise some money. They'll put it together, and then you're just promoting it, and
that's cool.
All the donations go in and go from there, and it's, like I said, it's easy for us. All the money goes to the kids, so
that's good.
And it's something very specific. So, and then to go, you know, be able to meet these kids and meet them in person and talk to them and hang out or whatever. It's cool. Yeah,
no, I dig it. Yeah, is that your homie right there, Dana?
Yeah. Yeah, she lives in that horrible state of Florida.
Oh,
so
poor thing.
Yeah, so she's sitting here watching YouTube instead of out riding because she lives in Florida. So, yes, we do have epic rides coming up. So we'll be announcing that in the.
Yeah, I remember you saying on Danger Dan's podcast where you had something coming up, but it's under the wraps right now.
Yeah, obviously towards the end of the month we'll put that out. And
you'll put it out on like your Facebook, because I like to be that kind of creepy guy that just looks at everything on Facebook, doesn't comment on anything. But I really do. I don't want to say I want to change my circles at all. I just want to evolve it, and I think that like some of the things that you're involved in could be of value to the way that I want to progress my motorcycle life.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. And rather than just like, you know, free willing and not know what the fuck I'm doing, I'd rather like go get and be around other people who've done things and pick their brain. I don't even know if I want to pick their brain. Just like, I just want to be around it. You know, I want to surround myself with this energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. So on the ride I got coming up, I'll be announcing that probably another, I don't know,
Is it like
towards the end of the month?
Without saying anything, is it kind of one of those? Is it something pretty epic, or is it like a solo thing? Or?
I mean, yeah, it's epic. I mean, it's not it's not that kind of, and that's what everyone's saying. What's next? How do you top it and all that? I mean, I'm not out to just keep topping going. Stuff. I mean, there's plenty of epic rides that they're not 100,000 miles, but they're still epic.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and your epic and my epic might be different.
Exactly.
You got maybe you got no desire to go ride 100,000 miles, but if you go ride 1,500 miles in 24 hours, that's an epic ride for you.
It's a personal challenge and goal.
Yeah. Everyone's different. So however hard or far you want to push yourself. Mm-hmm. is what's epic, and there's plenty of other rides out there that even for me that I don't have to do 100,000 miles ever again, but there's still plenty of cool rides that I want to do 100%. That I've got planned that are still difficult rides for the average rider and for myself. And this ride we got coming up, it's a hard ride. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, when you like you were talking about the Hoka Hey, it becomes more of a mental challenge as opposed to a mile challenge, 100%. You know what I mean? Because when you said, what is it, 10,000 miles in 2 weeks, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's easy, right? Yeah.
Well,
but then you add all these other elements to turn it into a mental game, and you can't zone out. You have to be, wired the whole time. So that challenge becomes a much greater challenge than the service value. Yeah. 4 days in, 2 days in, things like that. So
yeah. So Taco Run, we have the Taco Run coming up in April. I don't remember the exact dates. I'm sure she'll throw them up here in a minute. But it's an annual thing at Small Mountain Street Taco in Medicine Park, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Lawton area?
Yep, right by Lawton.
That's where my daughter lives.
So she'll throw it up here, throw the dates up in a minute.
So what's the premise of that?
Just all kinds of long-distance riders and not long-distance riders, just basically all kinds of riders just come into Medicine Park. If you've ever been through there, it's a cool little town.
Fucking really dope, yeah.
Right on the river. That's where the 2018 Hoka started and ended at.
Oh, seriously?
So we go in just for some killer tacos at Small Mountain Street Taco.
I haven't had it, but I know.
Yeah, it's killer. So everyone just goes in there. It's a big kind of get-together. I mean, it's not a rally per se. There's no other booths, anything set up. There's obviously shops there in Medicine Park or whatever. There you go, 4/9 Saturday. So pretty much everyone will start rolling in Thursday or Friday, and they'll be. I mean, there's a ton of people that show up. Mm-hmm. Just go there, and some camp, some get little the cottages, cabins.
Yeah. Is it like a campground, or is it?
I think there is a campground. No, it's not really. It's just. They've got a bunch of little Airbnb, so to speak.
Is it like this little so like if you're on top of that little mountain there, and you look, there's like a lake or river right there?
Yeah, there's a river right there.
And there's like a small town, right?
Little bitty town,
like
right
if you were
there.
going to go back to Lawton.
Yeah, Medicine Park is right there, yeah. And some people stay in Lawton at the hotels or whatever, because Lawton's 20 minutes down the road or whatever, 15, 20 minutes. So some people stay there. But yeah, it's just kind of basically take over the town, get together, and eat tacos and drink beer and hang out and tell stories and all that. It's
fuck all these performance bagger nerds.
Yeah, but there's a Facebook page on it. The annual I don't remember what it's called, but the annual Taco Run.
No, I dig it. It's a funny thing because like I was telling you how like I used history to become interested in certain parts of the country to ride through it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much or care about like this, but like where we are in, kind of like us in Texas, even Houston, you know what I mean? And straight north, we're kind of like the line of all the Comancheria of the Indians situations. And so I found out that my family has lots of ties to the Fort Parker situation that happened, 100 miles south of here, something like that, which then Quanah Parker, actually, his house is in Cache, which is just around the corner from Lawton there, in that same area. Mm-hmm. So, like, these parts of, like, western Oklahoma, southwestern Kansas, even West Texas has all become kind of like, oh, this is that town that was in that book that I read, and this was this area and this type of shit. And it made me, like, instead of just smashing miles through, I'm like, I want to go see the town a little bit. And you know what I mean? Like, it became a draw, just like if you were going to see the Billy the Kid grave. It's like, that kind of shit. So Lawton, Also the fact that my daughter lives there, so it was like,
well, yeah, man, come on up.
No, I definitely would. That sounds
come on
awesome.
up. It's a great time. You have a great time.
Yeah.
And there's some rides around there. People take off and do rides, and you ride up Mount Scott or whatever. And then there's some breakfast places around there we go eat at, and just kind of. But
I want to ride around there because I've only driven there like 2 or 3 times, like when she graduates, and I just give her money to come here. It's just better.
Right.
But no, like I feel like there's got to be some like really cool shit to see out there. I just haven't had a reason to go through there. It hasn't been on the way to anything. That's usually when I do trips. I try to find things that are on the way, so I'm not deviating too far off. Like when I look at your map of all the fucking places you went, some of the times where it just went straight line here, I'm like, fucking. You could have just went around, like just made a loop, like when you went and did the fucking like over the Mackinac Bridge and went into that island up there.
Yeah.
Like you should have just kept going into Wisconsin again, you know. But I guess what was the reason for that? Like
I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't really have a plan, and probably everybody else who would have done this kind of ride or whatever would have had way cooler shit planned than I did. But it was kind of just jump on the bike and take off and kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my hit list map. Which is, I'm sure everyone has it. If not, you need to get one set up.
Yeah.
Just get a Google map, and then every time you see something cool, if you're scrolling
put
through
little,
Facebook
like,
or Instagram,
something like that.
yeah, like, oh, hey, I want to check that out someday.
Yeah.
I'm not going next week or whatever, but just throw it on your map, and then all of a sudden, period of time, you've just got this map just full of cool shit that you want to see. So like on this ride, that was kind of the main driver. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna head this way, and then what's close on the way? Okay, I can zip off over here and go check it out. Zip down here, and just start checking these things off the list. Yeah. Hitting all these things on the map.
You said you went to the Noah's Ark situation.
Yeah.
And spent like 4 or 5 hours walking around.
Yeah. So my buddy Ken Andrews, he was one who kept kind of getting on me for stopping so much. Tell me, hey, get back on the road. You're behind. You need to cut out all the bullshit, quit stopping, and just ride or whatever. So he came to meet me to kind of drag me, pull me around, to kind of keep me in check or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but hey, I got one stop I want to make. Come with me on it.
Have you?
And then we went. He just didn't know it was going to be like a 4-hour stop.
I get in these YouTube rabbit holes, which I don't think we can ever get in rabbit holes anymore. I think the algorithm has taken the rabbit hole away. But at one point, I was on YouTube and I got stuck in this 25 of the weirdest places in America that you need to see on a road trip. And then there's like 100 of these videos, and I like one day just watched them all. And apparently in like Pennsylvania somewhere, there's this town that had like a mine under it, like something, and it fucking like ignited and it's on fire to this day, and the whole town's vacant, but you could see flames coming out of the ground. And the whole movie Silent Hill, the video game, is all based off this town in Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So you can still go there and kind of walk around, but it's vacant. It's kind of a ran down, abandoned town.
Yeah.
But underneath, everything's on fire.
Cool.
It's like weird shit like that.
So just shit like that. Just put on a map, and then when you're out, like you were asking, what's the how to get motivated or do? Just when you've got all these things that you want to go see, you just take off and go check them out. So, who's that? Whitney. Yeah, I gave her when she did the 48-10 on the Pan Am.
She did it on 10, because she's in California, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about the 48-10 when she did that on the
Pan America.
The Pan America.
I found her through the 2 Lane Life guys. You know who those guys are? So Lance and Galen are honestly that's where I got that cool picture up there from his son.
That's a good
but
one.
no, they're good friends of mine, and they actually came to Texas 2019, and they came here studio. We went and rode around Texas together, and they did their video, and I love those guys to death. But their channel is how I found her. And then, like I said, Suspension by Smarty is how I found you.
Yeah.
And, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that.
No, I told her when she did the 48-10, there's like legit, there is no way I could do a 48-10 on my Pan Am right now.
I haven't ridden
it. I've ridden it to Florida and it sucked, and I've ridden it to Big Bend and it sucked. It wasn't comfortable. Now I've got some changes coming to it. I'm putting some risers on, and I finally got some highway pegs put on, and I've got some other little adjustments to make on it. But like right now, I was
tough,
going to Florida about that 600 miles is
How is it packing that out to
Tops.
travel on it?
it's good.
Not bad.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, you got the full pannier set up on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole situation.
I've got the soft bags too, so like if I know I'm going to go like off roading or whatever, obviously I'm going to put the soft bags on there.
Fuck those expensive ass bags.
So, well, yeah, I just don't want to, those hard bags on there, you break a leg when you fall over, something
for
like
real?
that. So you don't want those big old things on there. So
Yeah, man. I don't know.
take out an ankle or a leg real easy. So that's you definitely want the soft bags. So
See, my
but yeah,
guy-
there is zero chance of me doing a 48 and 10 on that bike right now. I'm hoping to use it for the Hoka this
Yeah.
year. But once I get all these other things put on
What
it,
are you getting on a tank on there, gas wise?
160 to 180.
That's a big
I mean,
ass
160, 180. It's 5 gallons.
tank. It's all.
Yeah.
I painted one as soon as they got released for a homie up in New York, and it's fucking massive, right? But it's just like it's like a lot of those metric bikes where it's a big tank, but it's kind of hollow. You know, it's like all kind of caved in. It's like a Harley tank where it's a big, like, bulb, if you will. But I was like, when I was looking at getting one way back in the day, I was telling you the story earlier, I just like, I had to have the best BMW they had. Ventured out. And I'm like, I'm not strong enough or big enough to have that bike. You know what I mean? Because I can't touch the ground at all. I don't know that I'd be able to really handle that bike through any kind of terrain that would actually be challenging. I felt like...
You don't need to put your feet down. Just ride it.
Yeah. That's what they say, right?
Yeah. Easier said than done, huh?
Well, like I said, because I'm not used to being on dirt. I mean, because I know like when most people that rode dirt bikes, like you couldn't really touch the ground on a dirt bike.
No.
But it's not. You're not coming to a stop anywhere. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
when you got to hop off onto one side
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just do 1 foot or whatever.
so, and I figured that would be the same case, but then you have a 7-gallon gas tank, and and then you're hopping off the bike trying to hold this fucking Megazord, if you will, up.
Yeah.
It's like not gonna. I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt like I was gonna be in over my head in that situation.
What'd you say? Went to a place, never saw a motorcycle. Oh yeah, that was at the Cleater Yacht Club in Arizona. Arizona. It's out in the middle of nowhere. If you hadn't been there, check out that place.
Cleater Yacht Club. What's
Cleater
it by?
Yacht Club. Nothing. Nothing. It's 30 miles of dirt road one way.
Wow.
And like not just hard packed, easy riding dirt road. I mean, these like there was places where I literally stopped in the middle of the road looking ahead like I don't know if I can make it through that section.
Yeah.
It's sand. It sucks, and I'm looking like, all right, well I'm this far. Let me just try or whatever. But yeah, it's one way of just dirt road, 30 miles.
You said that like you had done like 200 plus miles or something like that on dirt roads.
Yeah.
Honestly, every time I've ever been forced on a dirt road, I was pissed. But then I was like, this was epic.
Yeah.
We got forced through this Irish canyon in Colorado once. We were leaving Rock Springs, Wyoming. And on the map, it didn't, I'm sure maybe you know of a map that says, hey, this is a dirt road. Well, Google Maps didn't say that.
No.
All right, so same boat. But
It's part of the fun, not knowing.
it is.
Yeah.
But it was one of those situations where like we didn't know how long the road was going to be dirt. And the detour was not feasible because it was like almost going to Salt Lake and around or back over the Rockies and into Denver. Like it wasn't an option. We were trying to get to Steamboat Springs. And it sucked. It was kind of, it was like, oh, this sucks. We spaced the bikes out quite a bit, so people were getting pelted with rocks. But then, like the last 3 miles of this 20-something mile stretch was through this canyon that I can still almost crystal clear picture myself riding through this canyon. It was so sick. And it was like, what was dope about it wasn't like Glenwood Springs Canyon, one of the best stretches of highway, in my opinion, that's a major highway. I could ride that back and forth and be a happy man. This thing was like this, but untouched. Like I feel like the only people driving through here were on horses and shit. So it felt cool as shit going through it. And we were talking about the hit list, right? And what I love about finding all these cool places that you want to see, I love finding it exists and finding out where. But then sometimes there's this disappointment when you show up and there's a fucking school bus of people, and you know what I mean? Like it takes away the exploration and find situation. And usually it happens with the things that are most closest to the highway, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why I've always loved Monument Valley, because it never really had that tourist attraction the same way that the arches do up in that area. Or fuck, what's another fucking wild one? I'm sure I haven't got to do the stretch, the 120 through Yosemite yet, but I'm sure like all those pull-offs for like Half Dome or whatever the fuck, or El Capitan or all these things, I'm sure it's like a line as if it was a bear on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? That like would kind of ruin it for me, if you will. So have you experienced any of that type of situation where something was just kind of too many people there to kind of enjoy it or take it in?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot. I mean, like you said, the national parks. That's kind of one of the things though you expect, and when you're going through them, there's gonna be a line of cars stopped in the road. Okay, there's an animal out there somewhere, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
people
you
start pulling out these camera lenses. They're as long as this table.
Exactly. Like, so you just gotta expect that and see it.
Yeah.
But you said Yosemite, so this year on the IBR, I went through Yosemite, and I've probably got to be the only person in the world who's ever experienced this. But I literally rode through the whole park, and I didn't even see a bird. I mean, I saw zero wildlife. I rode through the whole park.
Damn.
I don't know, 60-something miles, whatever it was, and I did not see an animal. And I was in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, not the best time. Yeah. But still, I should have seen something. I mean, I didn't even see a squirrel run across the road or nothing. I saw nothing. So it was, I got through it quick, which was good for time. Yeah. But I was really wanting to see some
I've ridden all those foothills on the western side of those mountains just from going up to NorCal to work. And they're all fucking badass. Like there's little towns from like Stockton area all the way up to Sacramento. And I've ridden all the passes from like Sacramento over into Tahoe. Ridden around the Lake Tahoe, fucking beautiful. What was it, like a Rose Mountain, Mount Rose or something like that on the other side over there by just Reno. I love all that area. It's really dope shit. I haven't had a chance to ride 120 across yet. And this trip we got coming up to the Pacific Northwest, we're hoping to finally do that. And kind of, I haven't ridden much of Nevada other than, 80 across at the top. And, of course, Vegas to, like, what is it, St. George or some shit in Utah. So I kind of want to do the whole Area 51 areas and things like that. And I haven't ridden or experienced much of the eastern slope of the Yosemite Mountains. And I want to kind of see that. I heard it was beautiful over there.
Yeah, it's nice out there. And I still want to do, there's still some riding out there that I want to do. Obviously haven't hit it all or whatever, but yeah, there's just some killer stuff out there.
You avoided a lot of Northwest California on your big trip, and is it just because of the traffic and the
traffic? Yeah, it wasn't intentional. I mean, I had every intention of doing that, and I was going to ride to PCH. That was on the list, but just that particular. So the first time I was out there, I was going to do it. It was just bad weather, a lot of rain or whatever. I'm like, fuck this. I'll come back. Yeah, I got plenty of time. When I made it back out there, just bad timing, on my part, just time of day and all that. And I'm looking at the map and just the traffic. It was just solid red, delay, plus 20 minutes, plus 10. I'm like, man, I don't want to take the chance. I can't sacrifice that much time.
Did you lane split a lot whenever you would be out there? Are you
as much as I could. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are you an advocate for we need that in Texas yet?
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
We need it now. It would take some time to get used to it because Texas, they wouldn't. Yeah. So I love riding California. I mean, so as far as riding, that place is amazing because you can see when you're coming up to the stoplight or whatever, you see them just move over, and they make the lane. If you're going down the highway, they move over. Yeah. Both cars will move over.
They're trained.
Yeah, so they expect it, they know it, they respect it. So, you always got that one dumbass car who doesn't move over. You look at the license plate and it's not California. Yeah. Somebody who really doesn't know. So, but for the most part, it's just amazing just watching them part. I feel like so you can get through. And Texas, they wouldn't do that. All these big ass trucks or whatever. They're like, it would take
that wouldn't years happen. to acclimate them to that. Exactly. But the other thing is that the trade off would be a helmet law state. And the majority of people that ride bikes here in Texas don't want to wear helmets. You know what I mean? Because they're not gonna legalize lane splitting and not put a helmet law. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't care about that. I love wearing a helmet.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So, but all the fucking bar jumpers, like they're they want. Yeah. There's a vibe. Don't get me wrong. Like there's been times at Sturgis, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ride to the bar without a helmet tonight, and it feels awesome. I can finally hear my stock stereo on my bagger. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, I wish. I feel like I've talked about this many times in the past that Texas is such a, like, logistically it's such a great state for manufacturing when it comes to, especially the motorcycle industry, right? You're here, so everything is, you know, like you're in the middle. Like, it's easy to travel. If you need to be somewhere, it's easier to ship all across the country. Obviously, if all your shit's coming from China, then you want to be in California to be the first to get it, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're making shit here, it's a good place to start.
Right.
It's here. But the economy of motorcycles would grow so much if we did have lane splitting. And because our cities are already getting so overcrowded, it would obviously would alleviate a little bit of traffic. We do technically have an all-year riding season. It's not Florida, but
we can definitely ride all year round.
We still have motorcycle seasons, but we don't have an off season. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I mean, if more people were commuting on their bikes every day, then that would create more maintenance, would means more shops. There'd be a bigger industry of motorcycle, you know, economy taking place here in Texas, which would make this place a hub. It's already somewhat of a hub, but not quite the hub that California and Arizona is. Right. But, you know, we're getting there. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm all for the lane splitting. I love it.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
you know, on the big bagger though, that's you know, that's kind of one thing tough, I ran into. I couldn't do it as much as I wanted. Just I'm like, okay, I know I can't make that gap. Yeah. But a lot of other bikes just whizzed right past me. Just, you know.
I like
the sport bikes or whatever. I'm like, yeah.
It's kind of like when you're running around LA, they have the HOV lane, but then there's that super wide gap between the HOV lane and the regular road that, you know, like a trike can fit through, basically.
Yeah, did that a lot. And I did a lot on the shoulder, too, out there, I mean, which is kind of frowned upon. But
yeah, you just got to get by. What I like the most, too, is also the filtering, like when you come to a light.
Right.
That, honestly, I would fucking take that here as like a starter. Like, if we could just get past this, like me sitting here for fucking 4 light changes because, you know, like I hate that shit because I don't know how bad Houston is, but I know Dallas and I know Austin's probably the worst right now with the amount of growth they've had.
That problem, it's just y'all.
Okay. Do y'all even have roads still? Yeah. But no, it's it's just so busy. I mean, I honestly I haven't really. I used to love going to Austin just to hang out with friends and going to ride some of the roads. There's a couple of nice little roads like out to like Marble Falls and a couple of areas that you can kind of get lucky and have a good time on. But the traffic's just so bad now down there, and you know, 80% of the lane splitting that you do all illegal, but you're going to get away with it. You're not going to have that one guy, but there's also that one dude that's like, you just fucked his life up.
Yeah,
you know. And it's always funny, right? Because you're here on your bike today. It's raining today. So hi on you. You know, when it's fucking freezing, when it's 110 degrees, like you're the like, oh fuck, it sucks to be that guy. Yeah. And the one time we have the advantage, they just won't let us have it.
Right.
Fucking cunts.
Yep. That is true.
So, I don't know.
I still do the lane splitting here though. Occasionally, just, you know. I actually did the other day.
Yeah.
On 45 in Houston, and I wasn't even paying attention, zipping through cars or what. And I literally split and blew right by one of those ghost cop cars. Siren, lights. I'm like, oh shit! I heard the siren first. Looked in my mirror, saw the lights, put in my blinker to pull over, and he just turned his lights off and kept going.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. So that was
nice.
I
would take that ticket though, 100%. Yeah. Like, and I've done it too. I've like passed cops before, and I'm like, you know, it's like those ones like the whole time you're looking for a cop, and then the one thing, the squirrel, you know, the ADD situation happens. And you're like, fuck, what is that one thing I was doing yesterday? And then you pass the cop. You're like, fuck me, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I'm in the mirror. Is he gonna pull me over? And I'm like, we're in traffic. He's gonna have to get on the side of the highway. Like, it did happen once because we were in West Texas on going through Midland, Odessa, coming back to Dallas, and 2 lanes, all those trucks. There's always issues going on there,
right.
or the 1-lane constructions. And I was like, man, I'm over it. I fucking like shouldered it for a little bit, past the cop car, and we made eye contact, me and the cop, and he just says,
Yeah, like, what are you doing, dumbass? Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, that's all you can do. Yeah.
what the fuck am I supposed to do, man? Like, you can turn your siren on and get away. Like, you can, like, or you can do, you have no laws that restrict you to make you sit in this traffic.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, fucking let me get one.
And you have AC.
And you got AC.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, man. But 100,000 miles, man. That's. I know we didn't really talk as much about that trip as probably everyone else has, and probably maybe even like most people were expecting. But no, man. I feel like that whole world that you're a part of in this, like traveling and putting down miles and hitting these challenges and finding new challenges is equally as interesting for someone that doesn't know about this whole other world of motorcycling. You know, a lot of us are still trying to figure out what bars to put on our bike.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let alone know that there's this Illuminati society of dudes and chicks that just fucking rack up ridiculous miles. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's a different world, and it's it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's something different. It's not your just average bar hopping weekend or whatever. It's hey, get out and hey, let's I want to go to LA to Pink's Hot Dog and grab a hot dog and come back. It's a 2-day trip.
It's ridiculous,
which I've done. It's 1,500 miles. You go out there, you eat a hot dog, you grab a couple hour nap, and you come back. It's a 48-hour deal. It's just or ride up to ridden up to Chicago to eat crab legs and come back. I mean, it's just there's just all kinds of different stuff out there that.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Do you still like enjoy doing any of the rally type situations, or is there any draw to that to you still?
Like what kind of
like a Sturgis or a Daytona?
Not really.
Any of that type of stuff. Have you done Sturgis really. And all those things quite a bit? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I rolled through Sturgis on my big ride. I stayed there with a friend and we did the ride. Mm-hmm. We did one of the rides there. It just I don't know. It just it's just a lot of people that.
Yeah,
don't really get out on their bikes a whole lot. So
yeah, it's a different demographic, right?
Yeah, not really something you want to be around or whatever. So
that's the hard thing about being in this position of like I have to suck the industry tit for life, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what pays my bills, right? So, but trying to find a way to inspire these people who want to spend money on their bike and make it nice, but also want to get real experiences out of their motorcycle. Yeah. And trust me, there's an experience to get out of Sturgis or Daytona, like all these things. It's more of a people, of friends. And
it is more of a party, and I'm just I'm more on the I'd rather ride side. Yeah. So, hey, let's go for a ride rather than just all meet up. Basically, they're just meet up and party.
Yeah. 100%.
Places. So
it's our problem, bro. There was this trip that we did on this bike. I rode. When I built that FXR, we went from here to San Francisco, then to LA for Born Free. And one of the dudes that was riding with us, he's an awesome guy. He's actually from Houston, so this might be the reason why there's a problem. He has stopped drinking, and all of us are alcoholics, essentially. And so we camped in Monument Valley that day. We camped in Monument Valley, had some epic photos. I actually met a photographer from Dallas that was there, who shot that photo, and then we became friends afterwards. But the next night, we were like, we're going to Vegas. We're going to fucking party. We're going to have a good time. And the whole time, you know, he's the non-drinker. He's like, this sucks. I want to be out under the stars. And he was saying all this like gay shit. Yeah. And we're like, bro, like we literally the next night we're gonna be staying in Two Rivers, just outside of Fresno, right before you go into the Yosemite National Park, or I think the Sierras, or some shit right there. But he was just like, kind of like, we needed that one night just to let like party, like, you know, stay in a nice hotel, fucking rage, get it out of our system. Because the next night we were staying in another beautiful landscape, you know what I'm saying, situation. So, yeah. The rally you created, what'd you do?
I have a rally that I run out of Houston. Okay. It's a riding rally, not like the
so my leather business can't come out.
Yeah, no, it's just it's like a scavenger hunt type deal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you know, kind of like, you know, like the IBR or any of these other big rallies or whatever. That mine's more just for beginners.
Okay.
You know, like trying to, it's that intro into the rally world. So there's the rally, like, you know, like you go to the Sturgis and Lone Star and Bike Week and all those, and there's rallies that are actual riding events, you know, scavenger hunts. You know, you get a rally book with, you know, 300 points of interest in them, all worth a different amount of points. And obviously you can't hit them all, so you just got to figure out which ones you can get to get the most points and get back on time.
So like, how does it, like, other than the scavenger hunt, what is the vibe of it? Is it just completely like separate? Like there's no community? Like,
no. So yeah, it's your own thing. Now you're all you know, a lot of people are going to wind up at some of the same stops or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, everyone routes on your own.
Yeah.
So, you know, you all get the same, like I said, there'll be 300 stops. You might be able to make it to 20 or 40 of them.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, you just got to figure out what route works best for you.
And so do you kind of like converge, like starting and ending kind of situation?
Yeah. You start at the same time, basically pull out at the same time, and then, you know, everyone's just going to go wherever.
Well, I was saying that sense of community because, like, after you were to go do all these different, like, challenges and scavenger hunt type situations, at the end of the whole situation, it kind of converge and, like, tell your war stories to each other.
Oh yeah. You end at the same time, and then that's when we go through the points, tally up the points, and see who won, and then go through, you know, list everyone's position and all that. So,
like, having a sense of community at the same time, like, even though, you know, a lot of it is kind of like going to be a personal journey, if you will, or you and a friend or something like that. But yeah, being able to converge at the end of it would make it a little bit like not so much about partying, but there is a party that you can be at. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what it's about. I mean, you all get to the end and then tell your, you know, stories of what went right, what went wrong, and then you look at someone else's route. Hey, you know, you figure out, oh, okay, you went there. Okay, that was better than mine. That makes more sense. I see it now. But, you know, so when you're looking at this map, you're just trying to map out the best way that you can go. I mean, obviously, the further away or the harder it is to get to or whatever, it's going to be worth more points, but it's going to take more time. Yeah. You know, so you just got to figure out what are you. There's no right or wrong way. It's just, you know, some people ride faster, some people ride slower, some people can't. It just, you know, they don't use the right program that will map it out for them, or there's just all these different factors that come into play. And some people will go pretty much the exact same route for the most part, and some will just be some oddball way off over here. Yeah, you know, just going completely the direction that you can look at it, and they're all tracked, so you can see it as it's going on.
Do you ever like just stare at maps?
Not really.
All right, so I'm kind of a nerd about that shit. So
I don't have that attention span to do that. It goes back to my not being able to plan very well.
So like I will, if I'm bored or just an idea, or I see some place or I hear about it real quick, I'm like, where's that at? I'll look it up. But I will sit there if nothing's taken place on Facebook, there's nothing on Instagram, YouTube's dead. I'll just like, what's over here? And I'll just like zoom in and check out the roads and maybe turn terrain on, you know, different things like that. Yeah. Or start searching for like where did Panera Bread start? Oh, St. Louis. Oh, fuck. I'm going to go. What's the first one? I'm going to go see where that, you know what I mean? Like, I guess in a way I have my own way of finding my own challenges that I think anybody that rides a bike that actually loves being on the road is going to probably do. It's like a natural progression, if you will. I think it's kind of unique because like all the challenges, the way I feel like we're similar in that is that I have all my challenges that I give myself through my eyes, and you have yours, and it's kind of it's still the same concept.
It's the same thing, and that's what works, you know. So no, I'll do that if I'm, you know, going to a certain area or whatever. Then I'll look, hey, is there any cool shit around here I need to see, or roads I need to ride, or whatever. So like when I'm doing my name rides or whatever, you know, I'll map them out, but I don't ever look at what it's going to be. You know, I don't ever look at the terrain, whatever. So part of the fun for me is showing up, and then I get to, you know, hey, I got to turn left, and I'm staring down this ugly ass dirt road. I'm like, oh man, you know, this sucks, you know. But that's part of the fun for it. You know, I enjoy that. It's kind of, you know, it makes a good story.
Do you feel like this path that you're on is something that you're completely compiling more ideas and things you want to do in life with it, or do you see like eventually you're going to be over it? I mean, because
I'm not going to be over it. I definitely want to keep going. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I thought this ride was going to be like super difficult, and I was going to hit the finish line and just fall off my bike dead.
Yeah.
You know, just tired or whatever, and it was just complete opposite. It was just, I mean, I felt good. I mean, I would have liked to keep going for another 20,000 miles or whatever. I mean, it just, it was fun. I mean, I thought it was like, hey, I'll never do this again. This is going to be a once in a lifetime thing or whatever. But I mean, I would love to do it again. You know, I mean, I had a blast.
Was there any kind of like I hate to use the word depression, but do you ever get like that post-trip depression kind of feel? No. Like you're like, man, I really want to be back out on the road.
No, I mean, of course I want to, but no, not like that.
Not like I mean, like I said, I hate using that word depression because it's heavy, but like it's just like there's this
back to reality type thing.
Yeah, like there's this thing about like before the
I guess
trip.
you have that. I mean, I miss it. I would certainly like to be back out there, but not anything.
It's like that part
major.
in Forrest Gump when he was telling Jenny about his travels, and he was like, when I was running through here, and there was like this dream sequence at the end of Forrest Gump, and it's like. Yeah. I love that movie, man. What can I say? But no, that's cool, man. Like I feel like there's this challenge aspect when you do it, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, I did it." But at the same time, I'm like, it's done now. Like it happened so quick. You know what I'm saying? How did those 100 days feel like they went by like that?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah,
they did. I mean, looking back, it just. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like any of my big rides like that or whatever, I don't really remember them.
Yeah.
Just people say, oh, hey, we rode this road on the Hoka Hay or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. If you say we did, but I really don't remember it. And on my big ride, I mean, I know places I've been, but I know there's just kick-ass awesome roads that I've ridden that if someone brought it up, I wouldn't remember that I rode it.
Yeah.
I just can't remember all that. I just kind of put it out of my mind and okay, what's next? Yeah,
that's a lot to process as you're passing. Every mile, every frame, scenery. You know, every little gas stop. How many? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I wanted to keep more notes. I wanted to do a journal each day or whatever, and really keep track of specific miles of each day, and keep all these details. But I didn't do it. I wanted to make sure I was, I had one goal to finish. That's what I was focused on.
Have you ever thought about riding at all? Like, I know this is like a weird like thing, but the traveling chopper dude that I told you is coming in, he actually does all these he writes these articles for for Cyclosource, but at the same time, like not even like for a specific thing, but just, like you were saying, the journaling, but like writing at the moment or at the end of it to kind of conceptualize what you just experienced in a way that you can kind of look back on and read. Because that's kind of the one things like we were talking about doing the YouTube stuff, right? Like, what are we going to say? Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm in my helmet, I can write a script. But as soon as I stop, I'm like, what the fuck was I going to do again?
Yeah.
Like, what were we going to, like, was I going to come this way and say, hey, guys, welcome to so-and-so's YouTube channel? Like these things that come through your head, but like I feel like when I'm on the road, I see shit and I get poetic in my thoughts and my like this scene and this, and like I could maybe say something that would describe how I feel on this road in this moment right now. But then, like at least writing it down makes it to where it kind of sticks a little bit more. But I have the worst handwriting in the world. I can paint. And airbrush your face basically, but I can't write words that make sense with a pen and paper, so I've never really done it, and I don't feel like typing.
No, I mean I wanted to do that, and that was kind of the goal, is each day just kind of, hey, a quick log of this, what happened during the day or whatever, and I took a few notes, but not enough to really be meaningful or whatever. And again, I stopped, I lost track of it just because I didn't want that. Okay, at the end of the ride, now I've got to spend this time to write all this stuff down or whatever. It's just one more thing to worry about. I really wanted to focus on ride and rest.
Yeah.
When I'm done riding, let me get some sleep and not worry about trying to write a log or journal anything or anything like that. Let me just finish it. So, if I were to ever attempt it again or do it again, I would try to every day keep some kind of journal and mileage and just keep all this stuff to really track it and all that, because but
day 5 mile 15,741 I almost shit myself today.
Right? Yeah.
I ate some funky tacos.
Yeah.
Hey, I got
Cool. All right.
So speaking of shit,
What? He's got to run and get one.
Where is it?
Oh, downstairs, all the way down at the end of the hall. All you listeners out there, you got any more questions we can ask Mr. Hop? Chris Hopper? That way we can, let's ask him a couple more important questions that you guys might have, and then we'll start wrapping this bad boy up.
man, I've always wanted to get out and fucking just smash some miles. I haven't been able to yet. I mean, I attempted one time, and that failed. But, one day, even if it's just me by myself, like I'm going to hit every state.
Yeah.
Just like you guys have. And if that's what it takes doing it on my own, then I'm going to fucking do it.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like I have really enjoyed traveling solo. I mean, there's something to be said for sure about experiencing it with your friends, but like it's just saying, it's like if we're just working here at the shop all day, we get shit done, right? But if anybody comes here that we actually we're social with, then it turns into something different, and so all the things that we were trying to do don't take place. So it's kind of one of those deals where it is definitely funner to be hanging out with the homie and experience that with them, but there's something about getting things done, solved, experienced, and being able to pack it all in. And to me, it's like I feel like I'm chasing all these things, all these states, all these sceneries, all these places to say I've been there, but I haven't had a chance to enjoy being anywhere.
Yeah.
Because we've always been passing through. And what I'm hoping is that once I've kind of knocked off that check of I've been here, there, every state, then I can go back and revisit these areas. Like, how dope would it be to spend 2 weeks in Arizona and New Mexico, as opposed to I got 2 weeks to go to fucking Washington and back. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you had 100 days to do 100,000 miles, which you got to see all kinds of cool shit. You got to go wherever the fuck you wanted,
Right.
Basically,
Right.
But you had a set time span to do those 100,000 miles. So did you actually get to really sit down and take in, those experiences? Like you were in basically a rush. Like you had to do 1,000 miles a day.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely stopped and enjoyed them. Like I said, we talked about earlier. Walked around like 4 hours at the Ark. Went over to Mackinac Island. I was over there, I don't know, maybe 5 hours.
what's the draw to that? Just something cool.
Something to see, something cool.
I'm planning on doing that loop this. So the hometown rally is in Milwaukee, and they're doing a BRL racing there, and I think I'm going to do I've ridden Michigan, but I haven't done the northern part, and then do the whole loop around. I fell in love with Wisconsin. You actually, on your map, you have riding through kind of like the southwest part through the what do they call that shit? It's like the driftless area or something like that. Or
I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. So
dude, I fucking rode through there when I went to take that bike to go to the 131 up in House of Harley up there in Milwaukee. I got a loaner bike and rode to SNS, which is in Viola, which is like southwest Wisconsin. Fucking beautiful riding. And it's not as big as like the Black Hills, but it's almost like if the East Coast, Vermont, and the Black Hills kind of meshed together. That's what the kind of vibe I got. But no. What the fuck were we talking about?
So to answer your question, yes, I did spend some good time at all these stops. So
yeah,
I made sure to enjoy it. And that's like we talked about earlier. My goal was to have fun and to enjoy it. I rushed through some stuff, but there's some spots that you get a picture and that's all you needed. It's really not a whole lot to hang out to. But there were plenty of stops where I would actually hang out, spend some time there, and check it out, walk around a little bit. and you know, kind of take it in. So
the other thing on your map, the very like the deep North Dakota, Montana, even like Minnesota and Wisconsin, you didn't even like seem like you went up there at all. Is it just like nothing there? Is it like not good roads to get the miles that you need?
No, just timing and weather.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I wanted to fill in as much as I could and ride, you know, everywhere, but just, you know, you think 100,000 miles in 100 days, you could see everything. There's not enough time.
Oh, damn.
You know, that's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, there's just so much stuff out there that I missed. I just didn't have the time, ran out of time. You know, I had every intentions of getting up there. You know, like I said, I wanted to cover as much as I could on the map, you know, get some lines out there and do it, but it just no time, you know, weather. You know, I wanted to spend some more time out on the East Coast. And I was actually headed that way, and there was a big line of storms towards the end, and it was kind of moving kind of slow. And it looked kind of thin. It was just a long, thin thing over the whole eastern part. And I had a buddy ride out there, and he said it took him like 3 hours to ride through it. Wow. I'm like, well, all right, I'm going to 3 hours through it, then I got to come back. So I don't want to spend, and it was like red, you know, all red and yellow. You know, it wasn't just a sprinkling, you know, it was bad rain.
Did you get any like super gnarly weather like that you got kind of caught in?
There was some. I mean, what was it? Kind of Utah-ish area or whatever. I went out there, and I wound up spending like 6 hours. You know, not like just major rain, but just a constant, steady, light rain, just miserable.
Dude, on my way back from Sturgis this year, like I said, I hit the Salt Lake and decided to come home. I feel like I always get in the worst, most violent storms in West Texas, to where, and it's crazy because out there you can see it.
You got a beer?
Oh yeah,
there, no? Yeah.
We got some of these bad boys.
Thank you, sir.
So like you know, I'm trying to take 287 back here from Amarillo, and then I see the storm, and I'm like thinking to myself where I'm at geographically. Okay, I'm going this, but I'm gonna go down. I was like, fuck, we're gonna cross. Pull up the weather app. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, maybe I can beat it, get past, you know, whatever. But I've gotten caught in these like storms out in West Texas because the wind is so fucking violent out there when these storms are coming through, and there's usually hail. I'm not necessarily scared of like a tornado or something like that, but it's usually just like being stuck in that going across and being able to ride it, or getting like between one of these 30-mile towns or 30-mile gaps between these towns where it's like, fuck, man, like I don't know if I can make it to the next town before I get fucking hammered with this red. It scares the fuck out of me, man.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if like you got caught in any of those situations, because I know weather had to play a big part of a lot of decisions that you made on the road. So
yeah, it did. And like I said, since it wasn't like a rally or any type of event or anything like that, I had that option to where if I saw something, you know, some bad weather, I could just turn and avoid it and go around it or whatever. But just that one storm, like I don't remember why or what, but I just had to get somewhere. So I don't remember if it was. I think it turned a little bit. I thought I was just going to punch through pretty quick, and it wound up turning a little bit. So
yeah, you got away.
Yeah, but I wound up in some rain. You know, quite a few days. But just kind of part of it. With like, again, got the right gear and everything. You're good.
Yeah,
so.
be prepared for it makes a big difference between that. We got caught on our trip to Maine this year. We got caught. We left here and it was pretty chilly in June still. Wearing hoodies when we left, and by the time we got to Virginia, the heat wave hit a northeast back in June last year, and we were walking around, dude. I could not find baby powder fast enough in New York. It was so fucking miserable. It was so hot. And Boston, like I love New York. It's a shit show, but it's fucking like it's a beautiful shit show, if that makes sense. But then we rode all of Long Island. Then we took the ferry from the end of Long Island over to Connecticut. And then still hot as balls. We get to fucking Boston. We're going to go see Boston. I'm miserable now. I've been riding in this heat all fucking day. And then it's 90 degrees up there, 95 degrees up there is like 120 here. It's not the same. Yeah. It hits so much different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it kind of made my trip miserable. And then, you know, Maine, like all I want to do is go to Maine and, you know, check the lighthouse out, but I also want to get like some fucking lobster. I want a lobster roll. Everybody talks about lobster rolls. I'm like, this fucking side of the road bullshit that they got up here. It's like, It wasn't good to me. I'm a hater.
Yeah.
I don't. I'd rather.
Same way. The place I went to in Maine that I was up, they were out. I'm like, oh man, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Go put your hand in the water, dude.
So yeah, like,
do they got one across the street? Yeah.
So, I mean, I could have went somewhere else, but again, on the clock.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like stopping. I was hungry. I was
Every
already
fucking
stopped.
town we went through that was
Yeah.
like these little on the water towns. There was lines as if people that like they came to Maine just for lobster
Yeah.
rolls. And don't get me wrong, like the lobster was delicious ish.
Yeah.
But you put cold ass lobster on a hoagie bun with no sauce. I'm from Texas. Like, we need sauce on everything. We need ranch on certain things. We need barbecue sauce on others, and we need hot sauce on everything else in between.
Yeah.
So up there, it's like butter, motherfucker. Like, you should have made it in the butter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a thing. I actually fell in love with clam chowder, and
Yes,
I fell in love
very
with
good.
clam chowder in San Francisco. And one of the best clam chowders was for me was Neptune's Net over in Malibu, right? And so we're like, well, we're going to the fucking Northeast. We got to go get some OG original New England clam chowder. We couldn't find any
Right.
because everybody sells it,
Yeah.
but you know, like it's not. We were in some place in Rhode Island, like I think Providence, Rhode Island. It was like some little harbor. We ate at a restaurant there, and I got the clam chowder. It was fucking garbage.
Didn't
I'm
like
like,
it.
God damn it, dude.
Yeah.
I can't fucking win out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway,
So yeah, I mean, I stopped by. Answer your question earlier again is Niagara Falls. Spent some time there. Check that out.
Saw that this year too.
So
Did you like it?
I mean, it's cool. You know, one of those places you got to say you've been. So
Yeah. The towns look like it's like they could film
So-
some horror movies there.
yeah.
Like it's on its last leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to get stuck out on the East Coast, so I was trying to bank some time early, you know, and do some extra miles. And again, it goes back to poor planning. I wound up rolling through New York at like 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. So,
Yeah.
you know, that cost me, 4 or 5 hours just dealing with traffic in that.
They're pretty chill about lane splitting up there.
So there's no place to. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's not a lot of space.
yeah. So I did what I could, but for the most part, no. There was just no way, nowhere to go. So
Each time I've ridden in New York, I've only been there twice on a bike, and once I just did with my son. The first time it was in 2020, and we actually got to ride Manhattan Island quite a bit because it was shut down. And it was a pretty great experience. The second time we went, which was on this trip we did to Maine last year, it was kind of back to normal. So we ended up just like playing the subway game, and that was fun too. Because it's like like there's a comedy show here. Let's just fucking jump on the F train and get there. It's like I start talking a New York accent all of a sudden. I'm like saying yo. That's
yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know. I love New York, man. It's got a vibe that it's electrifying. Just like I need that West Coast kind of openness and vastness, that electricity that runs New York. It also kind of I use it too in a different way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not for me. Not for me.
So you live in what, the third biggest city in America?
Was it fourth? Yeah.
Third or fourth? Yeah.
Fourth, I think.
Yeah. Houston, man. Poor thing.
I don't know, man. Y'all's traffic. I got to go back to the traffic here. It's rough.
What? I don't get. I feel like every time I go to
Yeah,
Houston,
there's just no layout in Dallas. I don't understand the layout.
we got
the
loops, bro.
So,
Loops.
So do we, but Houston's just easy to drive in.
Oh man, I don't know. This
So,
is.
you can't get lost in Houston. I mean, hey, if I just go this way, I'm gonna hit this road eventually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's not like
I
that
don't know
here.
if I agree with
see
that. Yeah.
Most
We
of you
can
guys
all
that live
agree-
here don't, but yeah,
We can agree that Austin has the worst traffic and the worst highway structure.
Yeah, I mean, Austin it's a whole different animal in itself. I mean,
It wasn't
to the people included. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It wasn't designed with the idea of like, hey, we're actually going to grow one day.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just do this town, and then like all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is a cool town. Let's all move here. And there's no highways.
no roads. Yeah.
Like they can't fucking, that's mini fucking LA 100%. So,
Yeah.
what else we got? Anything up there?
Your hardest day.
I think you said his hardest day was the day he only did 600
Hardest
miles.
day, yeah. It was just 600 miles. I just from the get go just couldn't couldn't do it. You know, didn't feel like riding. I was never in that. Oh, I never had a moment to where I wanted to quit.
Oh yeah.
You know, never had that. But I had moments where I was done riding, and it was for that day. But I just, you know, I had quite a few 800-mile days to where I'm like, you know, I'll just hang it up. You know, just, you know, get an extra couple hours of sleep. I'll make it up.
Hit the ground running.
You know,
once
my body's rested, I'll be able to make it up. I feel confident in that and do that. But, you know, there was never a, oh my God, I want to quit. This is miserable. None of that. It was like every day was, man, this is badass.
Oh yeah.
This is fun. You know,
every day
was
feeling,
like
man.
that. It was, you know, and it was just get up, and that was the only goal. Is, you know, the goal was never 100,000 miles. The goal was just, I got to get up and do 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
I just got to do 1,000 miles today, and I'm done.
Well, you know, I know we didn't really jump into the whole thing, but I would have to agree. All you guys listening, he did a great podcast with Danger Dan on his podcast that I think filled in a lot of the blanks of this podcast, in my opinion. And I do agree that I wish Harley did recognize you in a bigger way. And because as someone that's been in the museum a few times, I feel like your bike, your story in that museum has a very needed place, you know. And yes, at some point, like you said, I feel like, yeah, because it's been done, there are going to be those guys that want to fucking top it, right?
Yeah.
But that was a big milestone that I think is needs to go down in our history of what we all enjoy here.
Yeah.
Just being into this motorcycle thing as Harley built a bike that was capable of doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, you think they'd want to promote that.
Exactly. And I
showcase
feel like
that or whatever, but I guess,
you know, I feel like
they don't care.
Yeah, you know, and we have our opinions about why that is, but at the same time, I feel like I just feel like they don't understand the importance of it. You know, they don't. I think that what you get by being on the road the way you were is what you really get married to motorcycles, like where you can't imagine living life without this experience. And I think that honestly, a lot of people that work at Harley have no idea what that experience feels like, and that's why they don't value it the same way that I do and you do and many people that listen to this podcast and many others do. And so because of that, they would just like, oh yeah, endurance, cool. You know, I watched Survivor once, you know, it's not the same thing because they don't understand it because they've never been in that situation.
Right.
You know,
and you're not Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to eat some fucking abs, bro. And
Right. Yeah. Got
a little bit more melanin too, bro.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things. It's just, you know, most people can't wrap their head around it. You know, out on the road, it's funny. When I'd run into people at a gas station or something like that and tell them what I'm doing, they say, "Oh yeah, that's cool." You can just see it just went right over their head, like it didn't sink in of what 100,000 miles in 100 days actually.
That's why it's got to be a mind fuck to talk about it with people, right?
So yeah, and that's why. So like on the road, I just quit. I didn't even talk about it. I just quit. I mean, like you're not gonna get it, so I'm not. You know, I don't want to.
What I get with I
don't want to waste any time talking about it.
We pull up at a gas station. Usually, it's like, "Hey man, who painted that?" And I immediately would point at somebody else in the group because I don't want to deal with this dude's questions.
Yeah.
Hey man, I got a Cadillac. I need to get it painted. I was like, dude, I'm fucking in the middle of New Mexico. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Right,
like, let's not talk about that. Yeah. But you know, the bike, the situation. I hope that not only with this podcast, but the other ones that you've done. The other ones you did the one from New York you were talking about. Was that one Mayhem? Motorcycles and Mayhem?
Yeah.
I need to check that one. I haven't heard that one yet. I don't know is it out? Did they put it out yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the first ones. Those guys are cool.
I feel like
they've got a good show.
I feel like I really hope a lot of people listen to your story and not just this podcast, like all the ones you've done to fill in all these gaps of information about what you've done. And, you know, for one, I think that we'll probably see a change. I think people are looking for a challenge within motorcycles right now. I think it's kind of the industry itself is kind of in this like plateau of like what's next. I'm like, ride your bike. That's what's next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that like with more awareness towards like challenging yourself in the way that you did and the way a lot of people that do what you do have done, I think that people can find that love that made them want to be in the industry in the first place or made them want to be making bike parts or magazines or, YouTube channels, all that shit. So I don't know, man, I'm stoked. I'm really thankful that you came out and did this podcast here. I've been bugging you you were still on your trip when I started hitting you up about doing it.
No, I mean, it's, if it inspires someone to go do something else or ride more, whatever, that's awesome. I mean, that's obviously a goal too,
It's a good byproduct of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But, if like you said, people are looking for hey, what's next? What can I do? I'm tired of, every Saturday getting up and going to a barbecue joint. That's what a lot of people do around here. So I'm like, just, hey, it's something new. If you want to do something new, then, pick out some spots you want to go to and just go to them or ride along or do Iron Butt. Jump on the Iron Butt website.
Yeah.
There's a list of all different kinds of rides, different themed rides. There's hundreds of different rides that, a lot of people hadn't even heard of. Everyone's heard of, 1,000 miles in 24 hours. That's an Iron Butt.
Yeah.
And even less people have heard of 1,500 miles in 24 hours. It's a Bum Burner Gold or BBG.
Yeah.
And then, the 48 and 10 or the Coast to Coast. But there's all these other rides out there that, people can do.
Yeah.
And it's going to push yourself. It's going to push your body. It's going to push your machine. So
your mental aptitude with the situation. So I feel like in doing some of these more, maybe even the basic challenge, like the 1,000 miles in a day kind of situation, or just, going to the taco thing, you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. The same reason why we do the camp out. It's we're trying to get people to experience all the love and joys about what it's like to ride a bike, to the weeks coming up to it, planning it, you know what I mean? And like I said, I know you didn't do a lot of planning on this major trip, but I know that you've done planning on other trips. You know what I mean? There is always planning involved in something, right? No? Okay.
I'm not a planner. Yeah.
All right. We get it. You're cool.
No. I would love to. Because even on this trip,
there's excitement.
I miss stuff. I miss all kinds of stuff. I backtrack a lot,
Well, the planning that you did for this trip wasn't the same type of planning that maybe I'm referring to, but it's that's a lot of weight.
Preparation.
It's the preparation for a trip that puts you in this mindset of hyper focused on your bike, your machine, your state of being at the house, like being able to be gone for this time.
Yeah.
The situation with the old lady, the kids, the work, all these things that you have to balance to make this thing come together and happen. That this built up excitement and energy starts to take place, and then you finally get on the road and you're kind of like, I'm fucking going, you know what I mean? Hell yeah, and that's what I think the event, like the taco situation, that I'm super stoked about now.
Yeah.
And our camp out and many other types of events across the country that get people to leave their comfort zone and have something to come through where people are stoked that they actually rode there.
Yeah. The taco run's a big one. I mean, if anyone's interested in long distance riding or different rides or just something different, I mean, there's all kinds of different people there. The majority of them are going to be in that long distance riding world, and I'm not the best spokesperson for it by any means at all. There'll be a lot better people out there, a lot more experienced people out there, and just meeting some of these people and hearing their stories and about their rides and the places they've been and things like that, to where it's like, you'll hear something like, oh, I want to go check it out. Make your list and make your hit list. And then it's just a matter of get up and go. People don't realize that you can be pretty much anywhere in our country in 24 hours.
Agreed.
On the bike. So, people who don't have a whole lot of time, or whatever. I mean, it's, hey, leave it Friday afternoon when you get off work.
Yeah.
And you'll be back Saturday afternoon. Still got time to do the honeydews or hang out with the family or whatever it is. You'll still plenty of time to get back on work. I think
maybe a lot of people are used to what like they're used to like going on the road and it being like the same way when they go to the barbecue joint on a Saturday, where like, hey, this little 100-mile ride here, and then we're gonna drink a 6-pack and eat barbecue and then ride home. Well, if you're doing these kind of trips, you want to get these miles, you want to see these spots, like you need to turn and burn. You need to go out there, soak it in, and if you got the time, then spend the time. But if not, then go home.
Yeah.
I think that people have to change the way they look at how they're going to do it. It's a complete different style.
Right.
Of riding.
Yeah. It is a different mindset. It's something you've got to want, and you've got to have that desire to do it. Some people don't have no desire to ride 1,000 miles, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not right or wrong. I mean, these are these are debated on, in the forums every day. Hey, what's long distance riding? Is it 3,000 miles over 2-week period, or 1,000 miles a day? I mean, they're both long distance riding. It's just it's different.
My world is you're a bike builder. Did you make the tires?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're not a bike builder.
Right.
There's always going to be a tier
Yeah.
that's higher than something. But I think that to get a little philosophical, if you will, I think that we're all looking for a community, and sometimes the low hanging fruit is like, technically, if you like break it down in simplicity, then just riding a bike is the easiest community to get into, because you do have to have a bike, you do have to have time off, but you don't necessarily have to have $100,000 in your bike,
Right.
customized to go be a part of this community, right? Which is a lot of the communities in the custom motorcycle world, right? So it's easier. It's more you, not your bike, to be a part of this, right? So I have no idea where I was going with that. None whatsoever. It's
a cool community to be in and be a part of. And like I said, when you go to some of these events or whatever, and you just walk around and look at some of these bikes, you can just see the personality of, because like I said, there's a lot of us. The majority of us have aux tanks. I mean, my bikes, I'm not anything special. I ain't the first one to ever have one or whatever. I copied it off someone else. But just you can see the personalization as you're going down the road looking at some of these bikes. They all pretty much have the same type of stuff, but the way it's set up and the way it's laid out. I mean, some people have, the infrared, the night vision on there, so they can see that. I mean, that's cool. I've been kicking that around, but it's just, all these different things. I mean,
so you don't hit pigs, right?
Yeah, exactly. Some of these bikes, it looks like an airplane cockpit. They'll have 4 or 5 GPSs up there and phones and all these controls and radar detectors and spot
Fucking
trackers
Amazon
and all this
Kindle,
stuff.
reading a book.
Yeah. I mean, it's all this different stuff. I mean, just everyone's bike is just kind of tricked out. It's just fun to.
It's just a different form of customization.
Yeah.
And I think that when you get wrapped up into, or you kind of dive into that society, then you're gonna find that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
That's my dream bike, and it's like a stock paint job, but with gadgets. You know what I mean? And it makes sense, And I don't mean that like condescendingly. I mean it in a way like it's function over form, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what we talked about earlier, and that's where you get your personalization. Is like, oh, that's a good idea, but for me, I'm gonna tweak it. I want to change it up a little bit. You take the basic idea, but change it to this and something that works for you, or something that fits you better, or that you like better. Hey, that's a good idea, but it looks like shit. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it look cool. I'm going to either paint it or powder coat it or whatever. So at least I like my shit to look cool and to match my bike or whatever. So for Hoka Hey, I run a clipboard, one of those foldable clipboards. And that's what I put my directions on. And it's mounted on one of the RAM mounts right there up, so I take some of the stuff off that I have on there, for like GPSs and that, because we can't use them. So I'll take those off and put that on, and then I just got this big wild ass clipboard stuck right there with my directions on it, in plastic in case it rains or whatever.
That's awesome.
Everyone does something different. Some put it in their tank bag, some write it on their windshield, some write it on tape and put it on their tank. I mean, there's just so many different things.
I never could be a quarterback, so I'm just gonna fill it out on my arm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm excited, man. Like I've been looking for something new myself, and maybe that's why I was so heavy to try to get you on the podcast, because I just wanted more information about it, and I didn't know where to start looking. And Facebook is really hard to navigate as far as finding those groups, and not that I really want to be active speaking on it. I'd rather just like, okay, everybody's going here. I'm going to go meet people, and I want to go be a part of the human interaction conversation, not the online, expert conversation. And so, finding the places to go, from a veteran in a sense, where it's like, these are good places to find information and find like-minded individuals that are actually trying to go out and ride, and not essentially be posers of like, of the situation. I'm in a couple like moto camping ones, and sometimes those tend, and I know it's probably going to be across the board in every scene, that you're going to have the loud people that don't do any of it.
Yeah.
They just talk. all the time, right? And that shit gets so annoying to me.
Yeah, it's social media. There's shit talking
Yeah.
all over. But so that's the thing, you know, as far as riding, like we were talking about, people want to ride, but they don't know where to go. Hey, I want to ride more. I've got the time, I got the money, I got the bike, but I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So that's when some of these groups will help you out. So, you know, the IBA forum.
Yeah.
Then you got the long distance riding. So one of the big contests is if you look at America's Ultimate Long Distance Rider. It's called AULDR, AULDR, but America's Ultimate Long Distance Riding. So that's a contest that anyone can enter. It's free. It's all year long. It's already started. So that's where we'll get like a list, and it changes every year, of different things that you go take a picture of with your bike. Mm-hmm. And you just you post them. It's all self, you know.
Yeah.
The peanut gallery will judge it if you do something wrong or whatever. Yeah. You just keep track of your points, and you know there's a winner at the end of the year. I mean,
that's cool.
So you know, like this year, it's famous graves. You can only get one for each state. So there's like 13 points for each state. You can only get so there's I think this year is famous graves. So you just pull up, you know, the Find a Grave website, click on the famous ones. You can go to any of them, just take a picture of it.
Yeah.
You know, post that. Old gas stations, old movie theaters.
That's cool. It'd be good for like guys like me that are more photographic, like we.
Yeah. So it gives you a reason. Hey, this is what I got to go find, or this is what the scenic byways. Scenic byways is a good one. So every state has
it's like a Blue Ridge Parkway type situation.
Yeah, scenicbyways.info I think is a website, and it maps them all out on each state or whatever. And you go ride that whole thing and post a picture.
And
of
that's
your track.
on the which website or?
America's Ultimate Long Distance Rider on Facebook.
So AULDR.
Yeah, but it's spelled out on the Facebook page is spelled out. America's Ultimate Long Distance Rider. So you can check that out, you know, and then you get points if you do like some long distance rides. You get tanks. That's another one this year. I don't remember what all they are because I haven't really put a whole lot of effort into it yet. Mm-hmm. So you got that. Then you've got the RTE website. Then there's Tour of Honor, which there's Tour of Honor. There's 7. Again, it rotates kind of each year. There's 7. Specific spots. That doesn't start till April to November. There's 7 memorials that are the main ones. Yeah. That you go get. You take a picture with your flag by it or whatever. And then there's optional rides, which are Doughboys, the Hueys, the Madonnas, a couple different, just a couple different extra rides. War Dogs. That you can take pictures of along the way as well. You get a certificate if you get so many. You know, if you get 10, 20, 30, whatever it is, you know, you get a finisher certificate. You get a certificate for completing all these stuff. So people who like like getting their trophy or, you know, their recognition or whatever, this is cool stuff to go, and it gives you that reason to ride. So for those people who, hey, I want to ride more, but I have no idea where to go. I have no idea what to do. This gives you something. Yeah. Hey, go find a tank and take a picture of it, you know, or here's a RTE with all these different restaurants. Go hit some of these and eat them, or, you know, take a picture of them. They're, you know, a little hole in the walls, whatever, probably something you'd never go to if it wasn't for this site. You know, go do that. So, you know, a place to start if you just want to ride more. Okay, maybe you don't want to do 1,000 miles a day, but you can easily do these. You can go find an old gas station. You know, so there's been different things throughout the years, like on these different ones. I mean, old gas pumps have been one. Eagle statue. I mean, there's just it changes all the time. So
it's crazy how like fun that sounds listening to it right now, but how like my world that I live in, this Instagram world of social media and all these people, like none of that, like they just go to Starbucks and take pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not the same kind of energy to, I don't know, like maybe I should try to be a little bit more of that energy to kind of, you know, dabble into this world and find ways. But let me ask you this. So, like, does this world want to be exposed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because there's certain things that I love about motorcycling, but when I start talking about it a lot, or people do in general, it becomes this thing. It's like, fucking knew that band before everybody did. I don't like it anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It becomes like that weird thing where you're kind of an OG in a situation, and then people just found out about it, and it's an ego. That's what it is. It's my ego fucking with me is what it ends up being. But yeah, I don't know. All these groups I told you. So America's Ultimate Long Distance Rider,
the RTE, the Tour of Honor. I mean, all these groups absolutely want more people. Want to bring more people in. Very welcoming. Help you out wherever you need it.
Tour of Horror.
Tour of Honor. We talked about
Oh,
that.
Honor.
But,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm dyslexic.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, these are things, and they give you an opportunity, especially you, if you like, photographer, take pictures or whatever. You'll see some stuff that, oh man, that will make a cool picture. You see this cool. So in Alder, America's Ultimate Long Distance Rider, one of the categories is rider.
And that's a Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them have a Facebook group.
Okay.
So one of the things is rider's choice, which means you can pick whatever you want. And it's got to stay the same for every state. So you pick whatever you want. Some people say Harley dealership. Some people say, a statue, or some people say a church or whatever. So like this year, mine is old tractors. So I just got to.
So is that why you had all the train cars?
No, that was it. So that started. That was one of the cabooses were a category a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And one of our guys who was in it actually, he's really into cabooses and likes them or whatever. So he's got this shared folder that we all do. So a lot of us just continue to take pictures of cabooses and put them in there. It's something to do. Again, when you're out riding,
about like the covered bridges?
It's because that's just something
you like. Okay,
that's a ride I put together on.
Yeah, I was looking at your deal, and I kind of was looking for those kind of patterned situations.
So that was a thing to where I put together this little ride. It's like 30 covered bridges. It's like a little 100-mile loop. I'm like, okay.
And it was in what state?
What was that?
Indiana?
Indiana, yeah.
I didn't know they had covered. I didn't know it went that far west.
Yeah, big time.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's like the major
cool
hub
ones.
of them or whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, 30 covered bridges. It's like a 100-mile loop. I'm like, a couple hours, no big deal.
Yeah.
I'm done. Knock that out in the morning. Boom, back on my ride or whatever. I said, it slowed me down a little bit, but not that big a deal.
Why are covered bridges so fascinating? They're fascinating to me.
They just
but why is
take cool pictures or whatever.
I guess that's the thing.
But what I didn't know is, again, that whole 100-mile loop was dirt road and gravel.
Okay.
So 5 hours in, I'm still not done. I'm like, shit, should I just cut bait and just go? I'm like, nope. I'm going to get all 30. I committed to it, so I'm going to get them all. So, yeah, it took me a little over 6 hours to – so, I went 6 hours to go 100 miles. So, I'm behind again.
Yeah.
So –
But you just told a cool story.
Yeah. Got a cool story. It's an adventure, Didn't know it was, these were like – some of them were pretty rough roads, pretty bad.
This is the information that I was really wanting to try to fish out of here is finding ways and finding what makes the mind tick of a guy like you that says, fuck it, I'm doing 100,000 miles, right? And it's challenge after challenge, and then you make everything a challenge in this thing, in a sense. Not to the point where you don't enjoy it or you don't experience it the same way that I would, but maybe with a different lens you are, in a sense. But no, I love it, man. I really appreciate all this, dude. Like it's been helpful for me, and definitely, like anything, Dan said it to you, and I'm gonna say it to you too, man. Like this podcast is an ongoing thing. We do 5 a month at least. Mm-hmm. So when you have anything, let us know. Come up here and do a podcast run in Dallas. Dan's down the street. So appreciate it. So real quick, a couple like pages on Facebook, just names real quick that people can find some information, and then all your information to find you. Everybody.
You can find me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Chris Hopper. Mm-hmm. On
Hops
Instagram,
Adventure.
It's Hops Adventures, Hops _ Adventure.
Yeah.
I think it is. So you got the IBA. Man, what is it? I can't pull it up in here, but
this is called Narnia. You put that on your map.
IBA motorcycle rides, and then you got long distance motorcycle riders.
Long distance.
Then for the challenges is America's Ultimate Long Distance Riding, all spelled out.
Yeah, I got that one.
Tour of Honor, and then RTE. So I think the Facebook page is RTE-X-USA. And all of them, I mean, if you're like competitive or whatever, these are things they'll get you motivated. I mean, when you get involved in some of these stuff, you know, like Alder, for example, you see people posting all these points. You know, there's a winner every month, and then there's a winner at the end.
And that's what I'm looking for right now, because I'm a visual, like I take inspiration through visual things, like mainly photography, mainly things like that. And so I was actually drunk last night bitching on Instagram about how like things have become so mundane and people are just resharing things instead of making their own content. And so I've been wanting to find a place that people are posting things that they have done and experienced to reignite some inspiration to want to, I don't know the fucking word, like just to make you want to get back out there and do shit. You know what I mean? Or be like, hell yeah. Like like the taco thing. I'm stoked. It fits everything in my life right now to be able to be there. It's not a fucking hard investment with the trip there.
Oh, it's an easy ride from here. What is it?
Super easy.
2.5 hours maybe?
A little longer than that.
Is it longer?
It's about just under 200 miles.
Okay.
But it's not bad.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah, and I got my kid there. Yes.
Yeah. So
but yeah.
No, I mean, you definitely got to come to that. I mean, that's
for sure. No, I want to meet more guys like you.
Amazing time. So.
I want to meet more of this community, and I don't know. Like I've always been an usher for all these trips I do, and I kind of want to be a follower. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like I just want to be a student. That's a better way to put it. I want to go and learn and watch other people and be invited on their things. Hopefully, if I'm cool enough, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so some of these challenges, though, what you'll find is, it's a challenge. It's a way to compete. You know, if you're competitive, and you want to, hey, I want to try to win a month. You know, just 1 month in Alder. I want to try to go out and do whatever. But you'll also see everyone else's pictures, and you're like, oh shit, that's a cool picture. That's a cool place. I want to go check that out.
Yeah.
Again, add that to your hit list.
Yep.
You know, so you're just seeing all these things of all these different places of things that you probably wouldn't normally stop at or take a picture of.
Exactly.
You know,
and that's exactly what I'm looking for.
A famous grave. So when someone gets to the grave, they'll take a picture of the graveside. But then if they take a picture of like the whatever at the cemetery, the gates, it looks cool or whatever. Then hey. You see something that I want to go get that picture.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely those vibes, man. Like
or whatever. So there's just tons. Some of the Tour of Honor stops, some of the memorials out there that you'd never think to stop at or whatever. I mean, some of them are just amazing. There's some really cool stuff out there. On some of these memorials, some of the 9/11 memorials are just amazing. I mean, these giant pieces of steel from the towers.
Oh yeah.
Just propped up there. There's one with just they're like hands holding a big beam.
Oh shit.
Of steel. Yeah. It's a cool picture. So you see things like that, and you wanna go out there and hey, I want to get that picture. I can I can take a better picture than that, or I just want to get that picture. I want to see it in person.
Yeah, that's it, man. The challenge. I need to challenge myself in ways to, 100%. No, I appreciate this, Chris. Thankful you rode up here. It's been a rainy, shitty day here in Dallas. Maybe you brought it from Houston.
Yeah.
I don't know. No. But anyway, I really do appreciate it, man. And I'm really stoked that you exist.
Had a great time. Appreciate it. So
yeah. Thanks for drinking beer with me. I was going to be like, we're drinking water tonight, dude. Yeah. But no, anyway. All right. Well, everybody follow Chris. And if you're into this motorcycle traveling shit, long distance riding and seeing this world, or at least this country, dude, he just said everything cool to check out. So
yeah, check it out. Come out in April. Come to the taco run. I'll for sure be there. And
hell yeah.
Come out. I'll buy you a beer or taco or something, and let's get together.
Tacos in Oklahoma, though,
they're good.
I'll be the judge of that.
They're good, man. They're good. I'm telling you.
They have Mexicans up there?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very good. Yeah,
there you go.
You'll be impressed. You'll like them.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.